Welcome, friends, curiosity seekers, and connoisseurs of fantasy. Welcome back to those of you who were here for the pilot. Thank you so much for waiting, one and all, as we continue to grow over here, and all the things will happen. And I'm sure we're not the only folks out there who have ever had some surprises just before a big event, much like tonight with our intrepid heroes. So without wasting any time, let's rejoin them, and I will have more to say about how you can find our wonderful music, which I do not mind shilling for at all. Love Steve. Stevis the Bard, our very own. But I want to get back to, and I'm sure y'all want to get back to, where we last left the Fellowship and company. So, in that context, actually, we're going to start with some of Catryn's armed and dangerous. No, do it, baby. No, you're good.
I was like, I never know when.
No, you're good.
Light.
You're good.
Oh my god, it just disappeared.
It went out.
No, it's there.
The keeper of the candle.
Kindling, y'all.
Literally the rekindling. And just to remind the players and the audience, and we're working on a way to get this up on the website so that y'all can refer to it. I will say there are people who, if you just want to watch the show, have a good time, 100% with that. If you want to do a deep dive on the lore, if you want to get into my kind of insane level of interest and exactly who is related to whom and all 40 sergeants of Germentum, et cetera, that's going to be going up on the website kind of as we go along. So it's the equivalent of March. The moon here is Troupe, and we are still, unbelievably, on the same frickin' day that the first healing in over 200 winters occurred. And in 5 days from now will be the Ides of Troupe. Rekindling, get to that later in the narrative, but rekindling is a day of significance for most of the characters here. So this, I'm going to turn this over to Catryn, and she'll share with you some of her thoughts in that brilliant mind of hers. Catryn.
Hello. Just to preface, this is from her journal, so she writes these every single day. So y'all will get a lot of these. It's a wild feeling tapping into the Eternal River. It's not what I expected to see. It's almost tangible. Without the sight, you wouldn't be able to experience it or see it for what it is. I can produce lux, light, in an instant through my fingers. But this is so much more mana than I can even comprehend. I've been taking my time conceptualizing this existence within our world and trying to understand its intricacies, that my body is physically sore. The way it flows through every facet, every tapestry of time and being. I'm in awe of what Figulus has shown me. I plan to utilize it in any way I can to help understand the mathemagics and energy to build a better world. The Utini massacred so many the last few days at Pulex. To experience the aftermath and see the despair of these people and the complete and utter chaos and disregard of the leaders. Seeing life outside of Juramentum is unsettling. It makes my skin crawl to see the lack of protection and decency. The only one I saw with any leadership was Marcus, who never failed to hold my attention. He doesn't realize what he holds in his hands. Hell, I don't either. But I've never known that sort of power, and I need to talk to him more about what happened to that child. It's curious and fantastic. I'm glad him and his people are coming with us and are safe for now, and I hope they feel safe. I hope they can call Juramentum home. As a last thought, the man with the gray eyes, Adrian, I know him. The dreams of my childhood are not forgotten that quickly. I'm both scared and intrigued of what's to come.
Pardon, are you... And as you're finishing scribbling down about Adrian, you feel his presence. And he starts to peek over his shoulder and then stops himself. You do have the secret of the word.
Yes.
It's true then. It's not a capital crime in Juramentum. Ye gods. That has so many implications. Adrian, a pleasure. And your name is?
Catryn.
Catryn. Make an insight check.
Ooh. Oh my god, guys, it's not gonna be good.
We're just getting them out of the way right now.
Seriously, 8.
Okay. Something moves behind his eyes. You cannot follow it. I'm trying to work up the courage to go up and talk with that man, and he's staring over at Marcus. Of course, Marcus is in the midst of his immediate family, his brother's family, his sister's family, in-laws, cousins, and hangers-on now. All told, there are at least 2.5 dozen people. 2.5 dozen folks from Pulex. Then you have the Decury that accompanied the 10-man squad, Decury, that accompanied the Lord with you and your own fellowship. So it's quite you guys are cracking 40 now. It's quite a little collection going on here. I'm going to say this is going on concurrently, Anika, with him waiting for Lady Vale to get there. Well, actually, they would have already gotten there. So we'll have a conversation in just a second, Titus. But I'm going to go ahead and I want to just finish
Well, he
this
came
out
with us.
first.
We were waiting for her to come back, so it makes sense that he would talk to her first.
You're right. He did. Good catch. So
Old is never late.
and he says, "May I ask, how did you learn to read and write?"
I was taught.
Just like that.
How else are you to learn, except to be taught?
In shadows, carefully, and always in denial.
No, I was considered the weird girl for a very long time, but I didn't do it in shadows.
I only know one woman who knows the secret of the word, aside from yourself, the magistrate mage's wife. A formidable woman, if ever the word. Well, sorry, babbling. Right. This is the farthest I've ever been, and I'm kind of doubting why I came, or at least I was doubting why I came.
You feel it too.
I feel something.
When you were younger, did you also dream of me?
You see, because he has pretty fair cheeks, Anika, you see a gentle iridescence rise in his cheeks as he turns away, and remembering that the way that his face is formed is at that intersection of handsome and beautiful. Make a persuasion check, but do it with advantage.
Ooh, I love advantage.
Who doesn't love a good advantage?
Love a good advantage. Okay. 14.
He looks back, and he sees the Lady Vale fast approaching on her equine. Leta?
Sure.
Thank you. And he takes a half step closer to you. He'd kind of been at a respectful distance, still at a respectful distance. Still is, but you can feel him, and for just a second you think you might be able to actually feel him in the Eternal River, and then that's ridiculous, though. One doesn't feel individuals, one feels acts, one feels exertions and will in the Eternal River, not personalities.
How close is he to me when he takes that step?
Pretty close. I mean, arms just outside of arm's reach.
Okay. She's gonna slightly take a step back because
Okay.
she's still very unsure.
Okay.
But not in a disrespectful way, just in a kind of like, I'm still in my space kind of way. Unless he thinks it's disrespectful. Shit.
Oh, sorry. And he goes back. He caught, apparently. And then kind of, right, I'd best get to my warden. And he goes over, joking, I'm not a criminal. I just want to be clear on that.
She's gonna just open her book
and he kind of
keep
scurries.
writing.
Yeah, he scurries away. I'm like, God damn it, that didn't go well. So
And I see him approaching me too.
he's approaching you, but I mean, really, he's just
Instead of looking over at him and then her approaching and be like, that must have been awkward. Yeah. Just like, oh my God damn it.
The village is just big enough. I'll get to you in a bit, Allie. But hopefully by the time we're done with this, you can kind of picture what's going on, and then we'll kind of relate a bit of how your character got here. And you had seen the Lady Vale speaking with a small group, armored, that was on the other side, on the southern side of the Pomerium. So y'all, of course, came from the northern side. Our little compass rose. Hopefully the camera's putting that. I might not have put that far enough in. So just a reminder that north is always going to be to the camera, and that is, for the purposes of this campaign, is going to be home, and south is where most of the not home is. You see the dappled bay that she had been riding. You, of course, have never seen, horses don't exist on this continent, so you've never seen someone in control of a beast like that. To remind you, it looks like a massive, muscular, glossy, long-maned pony, but kind of a beast of a pony. For those of you at home who know different horse breeds, I'd said in the last episode that it was in Icelandic. So if not, just picture massive pony. She seems like she's born to the saddle, just effortlessly controlling it. She does pause at a tree that y'all had just been at not too long ago. Randy, I'll let you decide how far off from the burial are you feeling this to be? Like, are you picking up, like, how long would it have taken your people to kind of collect themselves and officially move out past the edge of the village?
Once we got past the Sippy Stone, we'll probably be starting to organize our groups into like small.
That's what I'm picturing too.
Probably about, I don't know, 10, 15 yards. Definitely close enough to them for protection in case we need it back, but far enough away where I can actually start organizing and seeing what we have to work with. So 10, 15, 20 yards, somewhere around there.
Okay. And for time-wise, I'm going to say that that's maybe another torch an hour for those at home. That's maybe another torch, maybe two. If we need to, we'll make some rolls. I'm running the clock in my head. You have an innate feeling. I mean, you've been here your whole life. You know that you want to be, if at all possible, you want to be underway soon.
Okay.
Yeah. Out of Amelia and the Decker, making sure that they're all fit as well for like the next coming journey.
All right. So your men are helping. Yeah, your men are helping them.
Getting the food that we had and those types of, like, get them ready.
Make a quick roll for your sergeant.
That is a 6.
6? Okay, no, it was for him. So there's some, we'll call it border friction, as they're used to a certain level of organization, even from the civilians in Germentum, because the entire thing is regimented. Everybody knows about the Myrmidons. Everyone knows, how they function. They
know their place. They know their role.
They know their role. They know their role, and everybody understands that they're responsible for helping to defend the city if and when it gets attacked, as has happened.
Yeah. And my sergeant is probably being yelled at by his mother-in-law too. Some extra stress. My God. Yeah.
Yeah. You hear in the background, I already have one son-in-law. I don't need another one. And ma'am, I can assure you I am not auditioning for your son-in-law. So that's going on, and he's, come over here. Salah, you're better at this sort of thing. Help me. That's all you, Sergeant. That's what they pay you the big coin for.
Yeah.
She comes, rides up to you. She stopped at the body, at the burial, and then rides onto you. Yeah, you don't have to roll for this. You see she dismounts again.
I would approach it, aid, but I'm sure she would ignore it at this point.
Okay. Yeah, she's quick. And you recognize it instinctively. I mean, you have been trained since birth to guard your dignitas, to guard your personal honor and your reputation. And their little, their games and probes and that sort of thing that patricians constantly do. Although, because you grew up where you grew up, only around your family as other nobility, you really haven't participated in many of those reindeer games.
Rather rusty.
So she comes down, but you all that to say, you do catch that she dismounts as a sign of respect. She's not trying to hold this conversation while she's literally above you. Good. They're getting themselves together over there. A little bit rough as she's watching the little imbroglio going on between Hortensia, your mother-in-law, and the sergeant.
Yeah, those are the fields that usually tend to be. Lady Vale, how's the girl?
Well, actually.
And her family?
Survived.
Good.
I remonstrated with them to see if they wanted to join us, but no. They're determined to see it through here. Their choice. Although my bones tell me this isn't the end of trouble for Pulex.
I feel the same.
She glances back again at the tree. Lord Vaughan, my life has taught me to mind my own affairs, but I have to admit, there is a question I would put to thee, if you would entertain it.
Absolutely.
That body, it's as common as commoners get. It has your 40 sesterce cloak wrapped around it. My question, why?
It might be a body to you, but it wasn't to them. Should be have the honor it deserves.
And what are they to you?
He was able to save a life they didn't know. Should be able to pay respects for those that I didn't know either.
And when the next body happens, and you have no cloak?
Bury it myself. We're different in the north.
I'm beginning to see that. And she turns, walks up. Priest. Domina. And Adrian runs up to her. This is your last chance. I'm not going to turn away from this. I told your superior, His Grace, that I would get you there, but I won't force you against your will. You know what trouble's coming. There's a ship docked back there with the family that I just left. You could leave now. And he does, even though he's a good distance from you, Adrian looks back over to you.
She's still writing, but she feels it, so she'll look up. Sneaks a peek at you.
My lady, with due respect, I'm right where I'm supposed to be. I truly believe that. Very well. Then you may be here as I review my mission with Lord Vorn. The long and the short of it is this. About, what has it been now? 2 moons? Closer to 3, Domina. 3 moons then. There was a foolish attempt of, well, even saying these words out loud sounds ridiculous. The Church of Light that's headquartered in Leptis Regium sent up a delegation of priests, young mostly, although there was one with some status, circlet and everything, to proselytize to the Utini and convert them. No, and there's some of your men who catch that are close enough. I mean, there are some ryejuckles.
As a favor, if they do wish to do that, I would suggest that they ask those with experience with them how to and to not. They are not worth reasoning.
Adrian pipes up. Don't, yeah, no, okay. Oh, wow. That's so funny, Donnie. So you put up your finger right as I was literally raising my hand up here. And
kind of clocked that, look. Oh. Put mine down a little bit.
She says, no, I'm seeing, I usually pride myself in efficiency on the field of battle, but I'm seeing why you use a hand when you use a finger. Well done.
Oh.
Believe me, he's chatty enough.
I can tell.
He blushes even more and kind of shrinks away. I think the question he was going to put to you, though, inappropriately, I might add, to someone far above his station, are there people who have successfully converted Utini to the Church of Light?
Only thing that can confront Utini is into the ground.
And this is her putting up. So she does have, the gold and emerald necklace that's around, not delicate, strong enough, almost a chain. Mm-hmm. So it's probably even for her, not gold through and through, it'd be too heavy. She reaches underneath though, and almost delicately puts her fingers on something that you can't see. Mm. Well, he's supposed to go up and assess the situation. So here we are.
Well, you're welcome to join our convoy.
This is I'll be generous and say eclectic group. I suppose I can go as far, well, I'll see you through the bog anyway, or perhaps vice versa.
We do have a brilliant scout who has a lot of familiarity with this area.
One of the means of surviving long-term travel is to understand that you will always be more ignorant than the people who have spent their entire life there. I have no pride invested in that, my lord. You hear some coming up from north from his people. So you're prepping your folks, and your wife's looking around. They're gonna share some of the food with us.
Well, I would hope so. We could probably do some bit of hunting on the way there.
There's so many, though. We got so many mouths now.
That's true. We had enough food for what, 5-6 days at most? That's when we only had the 3 families and a bunch of others, but we've had more now, so I guess we divide and tighten the belt, so they say.
She She looks over. She's eyeballing the cart. I didn't describe this last session, Randy. So she's eyeballing the cart that you can clearly see now that you're past the village proper. And remember, you guys did bring stuff for basically humanitarian aid. So it's laden with all sorts of foodstuffs and provender. And she's already kind of looking at that.
I'll discuss it with them, see if they will.
Husband, we don't have no coin. What are we gonna do?
We're gonna follow the path Thorm has laid for us, and this is it.
I want Merrick to walk up.
Okay, sure. Yeah, you can. You're far enough away, but I mean, with your ears, you can hear the gist of the conversation. Yeah.
Marcus, correct.
I turn in.
Yeah.
Aye, sir.
Merrick, Sergeant Merrick.
Back.
Here. He pulls out some rope. I would like your children to always hold on to this. Attach them between two adults. Make sure they stay held to the rope as we travel through the bog.
Sure. Do me a favor and show us the first ones, and we will follow the pattern through the others.
I want to make sure the children do not walk off.
Yeah. I'm going to gather the men folks.
His wife looks at you. And she's about the same age as him. Caroline's lighter hair, kind of a full figure. Looks like she has some strength to her. She looks at you.
Problem, ma'am?
Just, don't be taking offense, but are you a
Kithgi. You're a doubles.
Gesundheit?
Doubles. Doubles.
Right.
Twice?
Oh, I think I have it. I do.
Aye.
That's just to say, though. But you're more than 16 winters. You are.
Much more.
Wayso walks in.
Okay. Okay. Please do. Just a reminder to the players that this village is entirely human, and that while the Kithgi have been fully integrated from the very first moments of Germentum because of the Battle of the Bloody Shore and their history, that that is not usual south of your city.
Mm-hmm. So I walk up. Remind me your name, ma'am.
Alba it is.
Alba, my name's Waysa. And I understand your confusion. The first time I met the Kithgi, I was a bit surprised as well. I'm not from Germentum.
She gave me a pie, she did. Your little admirer pipes up from... your little chicken coop admirer pipes up.
And so the Kithgi, yes, Merrick is a grown Kithgi. He's a very... Sergeant Merrick, he's a very capable warrior. And you'll see in Germentum, there's many like him.
Grown, you say?
Fully.
Fully?
A mature Kithgi.
I'm not crazy.
You ain't.
No, you're not. It's...
Can I get an idea about how old he is? Just...
Sure, make an insight check while this is going on.
The food, the cart.
Oh, I have no idea. I got it too.
Okay.
I have no idea.
You're mystified.
Yep.
Catryn's gonna walk past this conversation, flipping through her
Do you have a cook or someone that can help distribute the food?
Oh, the cart.
Yes.
Well, there we go. We do. The lady folk will be more than happy to divvy up as we needed.
Right, I just make sure we have enough food for you. You need to eat.
That'll be hard, but don't worry, I'll hunt my own.
I just don't think you got enough when you were, coming up and what?
Alba.
I'm fine.
I put my hand on her shoulder. Okay. That's enough, dear. Busy day. Seated kids.
So, ropes, kids.
She just kind of leans
No
against
ones.
As we gather up the menfolk, Sergeant Meg here is going to be showing us how to toy the kids together so that we don't lose them in the bog. So let's learn as much as we can.
Right, brother.
divided them up. I'm also going to make sure that the older kids, like 12, 13, 14, anyone that might have come in with that age group, also take a larger role in herding the children along with the women. Because it's like, yeah, because they need to be working on something.
Anika, I know there's a lot going on in this scene. Important, Anika, as Catryn walks by and you're openly flaunting the secret of the word, some of the villagers gasp and others of them bow.
No. She does not. She would not notice. She's very
okay. You wouldn't notice. You do notice, and you know that is a hideous breach of etiquette for plebeians to bow to another plebeian.
So I go and whisper, Catryn. These folk don't know about the word. Perhaps to be a bit more private.
Got it. She'll put it away really quick.
As I'm taking notice of the people who gasp probably as well, and I'm like, something of a scrivener. They write things for the lords.
Sorry, that was the gasp. That was the gasp from earlier, about 10 minutes ago, that I made because some people saw her. I didn't convey that. Some people saw you writing and were like, kind of shocked when I saw that. Okay, my bad.
Yeah.
My bad. Go ahead, Randy.
It's just one of the scriveners. I saw the priest with one as well.
Oh.
She's supposed to be like that.
Oh, right. Makes sense.
Come.
So, all right, you start tying kids in between adults.
It's like a main rope and then have little side hoops if I can. Or do I need to tie them onto the rope itself? Either way.
You can put, you're going to take some time to do this?
I mean, we have the time, yeah.
Yeah, it's, believe it or not, y'all, with everything that happened, it's only about high sun now. Because you did get here shortly after dawn. It's just, this day is just going to get longer and longer and longer.
Long Congo line.
Yep. You have stabilized again, Marcus, but you are still feeling a little weird. You're still feeling a little hot. Your hands are still, they're not heavy anymore, but there's a weird kind of pins and needles prickling that runs through them. Not all the time, but every 30, 40 seconds, there'll be just a little.
Keep note of that.
Okay. And Nalishli.
It's 11Z's, snack time, lunch for everyone.
1Z's, 11Z's.
You have been traveling, my dear. You remember the camping trip that you took with Auntie Publia and with your friend Wesa? With your, I would even go so far as to say your sister in battle after you brawled with the old lion. And you have felt the pull, and you've continued to get little flashes of north, always north. And it's been bothering you enough that you want to find what is going on. You know the others left, but as we've talked about before, you're not particularly concerned with the comings and goings of the Myrmidons and their rigid structures and their barking orders. None of that. And none of that for thee. So emerging, we haven't even really set out properly, but you are outside of the village. Make a survival roll for me. It's kind of a rough one for her.
Excuse me.
Sorry.
What? 9.
Okay. It's not that you can't feed yourself, because you can, but this is you just kind of lollygagging and getting lost. But to you, it's not lost. You're on divine time. But you have you've gotten to explore and look at what quicksand is. You had an experience with quicksand.
What happened? Okay.
You got to. You're okay. Your clothing, the Kithgi seamstresses that made your clothing might be a little bit sad when you get back home, but You found out what a ray of desiccation does to quicksand. Yeah, and apparently you can desiccate quicksand as well as bodies, which is good to know.
Sick.
Otherwise, your little jaunt through the bog-lands might have turned out a tad differently. At any rate, you break through the tree line. Remember, I did say last session that they'd done a good job of deforestation around the village. So when you break through this tree line, you see this tableau out in front of you. You see groups of men, women, and children, including elders, who are off to one side, over 24 of them. And they have a different feel than the people that you're used to seeing. And remember, the entire world for you is only Germentum and the surroundings. This is all new. So you have that, and then you do see the fellowship, some of your other chosen who are about, kind of involved in their own activities with reading and writing, with playing diplomat between two cultures, with speaking with a scion of the old empire. And yes, I realize scion is supposed to be males, but Lady Vale's appropriated. It's appropriate. She's appropriated that whole that whole piece for herself. So, what are you naturally drawn to?
So I'm walking out past this tree line.
And you've entered kind of a forest glade.
Okay.
Now, oh, sorry, and beyond, there is a very different feeling from this glade, but you would have to get closer to be certain, kind of to feel into that.
Beyond this glade.
Beyond the glade, yeah, because you have this activity, this life, this purpose and intention in front of these people, and there's a whole. It's kind of chaotic, but it's controlled chaos, which you know well. Past that, it's the tomb. You see. Actually, I'm going to say you're a little bit too far, unless you really fix your intent on that. But I need to kind of know how she's processing this and experiencing this, because she's our interesting, unusual girl.
Yeah. So, and she's been away for a while now, or has it been just days?
You decide. Has this been one of her longer jaunts?
I feel like it would have been about a month.
Okay.
So, at this point, I think she's going to see Wesa and Catryn. And she's just...
That makes sense.
Those are her girls.
Yep.
So, it's the main one she trusts at this point.
Sure.
So she's going to walk through the glade and just walk up and go, Wesa, Catryn, how are you?
Oh my god!
What? So they might scream in joy. So your beefy brother, he takes out his impromptu maul, sets himself, he's not right next to you or anything, but sets himself between you and the children. The shriek, your sister also, man, she is ferocious. She whips out with a knife, kind of drops low, goes shoulder to shoulder with your brother when this outre looking stranger comes in. The shriek, of course, was provided by your mother-in-law.
Oh, lovely.
Do I notice her come in?
You do.
Woman! That's one of ours.
It's a devil!
Quiet down!
It's a devil!
Calm, human.
She's not a devil. Well, maybe.
Maybe?
Hortensia. You are safe.
Mom, it's all right. It's all right.
You are safe.
You don't know that?
I'm ignoring her now.
Okay.
What do I see? Who are you?
Go ahead and describe your character.
You see a tall, very tall, roughly 5'11", thick woman who just is muscly and strong, but quite sexy at the same time, I will say. And she has long, black, cascading hair with this grayish kind of skin. And there are markings that you can see that are going down, starting from her face and going down her body, that are these almost like red tribal lines. And her eyes, you notice, are piercing gray. Like they're just like a gray you've never seen before, like the most cloudy British morning.
So skin is gray and eyes are lighter shade of gray, darker shade?
They're almost like an opaque gray, if that makes sense.
It does. Okay.
It's almost inhuman. We're pushing the bounds of that. Well, Merrick has some striking coloration to him, but there's nothing inhuman. This
is a day for new things.
Okay, fair enough.
This is a day for new things.
Fair enough. Yes, it is.
It's the first call American a human. Been called a lot of things, but inhuman. No.
So as I walk in, I think, is it Hortensia is the one that screamed?
So you see a kind of a shriveled older woman who nonetheless has flinty eyes, still has flint in her eyes. She's got little more suggestion and tufts of hair. She's bundled in threadbare clothing. You can see that she does have a girl maybe around 10 winters that she's hugging kind of protectively. And she's terrified, but she's not cowed. She's just kind of the upper lip comes up. You stay away! You stay away!
At this point, I'm gonna calmly walk up to them, not like too close where they're like terrified I'm in their space, but just at a distance and say, "Calm, human. I mean you no harm."
Make a persuasion roll at disadvantage.
At disadvantage?
Yes,
Roll
again.
again.
So you roll again and take the worst of the two.
Oh, great. Okay.
Fabulous.
17.
The
Plus,
worst, the worst.
Oh, the worst?
First one.
6. Wait, plus 3, 9.
Plus 3, 9. Okay.
Oh, thank God.
Okay.
Could have been worse.
You even though you're continuing to experience the world as new, and you're now like 1 year old, a little bit more, but basically 1 year old. Even though you're continuing to experience the world anew, you do understand at this point, Allie, when humans are. You don't think of yourself as human, do you? Okay, so you would think of them as different from you. Fair enough. So humans, you do know when humans are seeing you and when they're just seeing you. And she's definitely in the latter. She's backpedaling. It'd be comedic if there weren't serious things afoot right now, where she just kind of the rock she's on, she almost tips over and goes backward. Marius has to grab her, Gran, and her legs kick up a little bit.
Ashley, come
I'm gonna
speak.
move over to her quickly. When she said that she wasn't meaning to hurt her at all, can I sense if she was or not, or like just from the reflection of her voice, set of her shoulders?
Your character is so attuned right now. You don't need to make an insight check because you had some excellent insight checks last session. This is, again, for the characters, this is all still the same day, and you're just like you're woof, open right now. So even though she looks bizarre to your eyes, and there is something dangerous about her, there is a whiff of danger or lethality to her. Actually, your character, what would come to mind with your character specifically is there is a whiff of a deepest winter to her, and it's spring right now, and that's very dangerous for who and what you are. Yeah. Having said that, you feel no malice, and in fact, the joy that she had coming to her sword sisters seems genuine.
I like them.
These people have been through a lot, very similar
to
that village.
Actually, Rennie, I take back. So you get all that. Go ahead. There is one thing I want to see if you catch.
11, 17.
Utini.
Insight?
17, yes.
Nasty people. Creatures.
There's much I need to catch up on.
They are scared of you.
There's something, and you can't square this with what I just said, there is something oddly childlike about her.
Right, you as well.
Dangerous and childlike.
Take it for what. Yeah, exactly.
We'll be fine, Hortensia. Mind the children. Stay with the group. You will be fine. We will protect you.
It's not me I'm worried about.
And I'm worried just the same. But I don't feel nothing from her. So just take a moment, breathe, and relax.
I know how to breathe.
and breathe better.
As that interaction's going on, I lean over to Lady Vale and kind of like shoulder her. I'm like, I believe you said eclectic.
I think I may have undersold the mark, Lord Vorn.
I think you're right on.
Should I?
Fine.
All right. I
would say through the bog, I wouldn't be riding your... What would you call this?
She looks up, and for the first time, there's a pure, unguarded smile on her face. His name is Erebus, but they're called equines.
May I?
If he lets you. He doesn't usually like men.
Yeah. I'll go for it.
Other men. Sorry, Ari. Make an animal handling roll.
Animal handling.
That is a 17.
Ooh.
Oh, no, 15. 16 minus 1.
16 minus 1.
Acrobatics.
Animal handling. Because it's wisdom. Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
And I'm an idiot.
But today, your gauntleted hand goes out, and Erebus does not shy away from you. Huh. I'm surprised. Okay.
What a beautiful creature.
Beautiful, loyal, quiet.
Unlike...
everything I like in a companion.
Sorry about Adrian, then.
She looks over at Adrian. Everything I like in a companion.
I chuckle at that, and I wouldn't probably ride him through the bog. You can put it behind the cart, or walk beside you.
Beside me, then.
Yes, and I'll explain this closer to
Damn.
So Erebus snorts a little bit, and then
you'll be all right. Yeah, and then I'm gonna take out a call and fruit cut tart thing and try to feed it.
He actually, one of his eyes looks over at her, but almost delicately, takes it, and then and it's almost like the horse is kind of staring you down.
Mm-hmm.
How are you responding?
Entirely staring it down, eyebrows kind of compassionately like looking, just like, oh, what a cool creature. Because I've never seen it be intimidating outside of riding at me, but...
Okay. You see the muscular legs, and you know it'd have a hell of a kick.
Yeah. I'm entirely looking at it like this is a instrument of war, but also it has a personality, so I'm kind of fascinated by that.
She honestly just lovingly strokes his side, and even kind of musses or shifts away some of the massive mane. Don't worry, Ari. I'll comb you out when we make camp. It's been a long road, old friend. Hopefully we're just within a few days of finishing this leg of it. Geramentum, roughly how many leagues? One league is
we can make it in 2 days without the cargo. And I gotta look over at all the people kind of arguing and going back and forth and screaming. I'm like, it might be a little closer to 3, but we have enough provisions for you and your priest friend.
I appreciate that, Lord Vorn, but not what I was worried about. 3 days with that rabble? Good luck.
Wait until you see Geramentum.
I'm counting on it. If you're what it's produced, and you are its heir, tell me, is Titus Invictus, your grandsire, does he accept visitors?
By my account, yes. By my charge, absolutely.
And the Infang Prime, the city I was born in, he's a living legend.
Yeah, he still is. A legend. And he is
hopefully living a bit longer.
I don't think anything could take down Titus Invictus.
Be just my luck if I got there and the next day he died.
I doubt that. Strong line. Old, but he's strong.
All right. Well, I'll see what I can get. I'll see what gentle persuasion I can give these people. We need to go. We're already past high sun.
Agreed.
So she gets up there, and she kind of before we kind of shift gears. Normally this would be Normally this would be maybe a perception roll or an insight check, but for you, go ahead and make a tactics roll.
19, that's 23.
Oh, wow. All right. You see she takes a good, long, assessive look at your men. And perhaps she doesn't know that you see her, so she doesn't school her face very carefully. She's drinking in every detail. And there is one, she seems to give a nod, and with the 23, you catch the thing she was nodding at is the construction of your pilum and how you have extra heft and extra weight to the tip. And almost unconsciously, she may not even know that she does this. She reaches back, and on Erebus is our 2 pilum, a longbow, and she touches her pilum, which is still the lighter old school variety. So it wouldn't have as much mass in flight.
Makes sense.
Okay. All right. So underway.
I'll take lead, and
You'll take lead.
yeah, Merrick will pull out his bag, actually several bags. One filled with rocks,
Okay, I'm listening, Corey. I'm just
one filled with wood, and one filled with sand. And you see
Right.
Merrick literally toss them forward about 5 feet, 10 feet, and based on which sinks and which stays up. There. Yes, I remember this now. This is the path.
Yeah.
Very little mud here. Do not go over there very deep. And he'll keep on doing that process.
Maybe
Okay.
do the lead, and I'll address kind of everyone quickly. I'll be like, Wasa, make sure to keep an eye on the food. Catryn, make sure that you take your time to rest when you can. Marcus, make sure to keep your people in order. I'll make sure my men are nearby them. Keep
Can
the
we-
children on the length.
Can we have the smallest ones be riding in the cart, my lord?
They can take turns next to the cart, and I'll stand by with them. And initially, be yourself.
Great. I feel that I have a lot to catch up on, but we can do so on the way.
As long as Catryn's not carrying something, perhaps carry your backpack. She'll be able to help you out.
My lord. This is Servilia, so your sister. My lord, how do I? And she,
I would take the child and be like, and what is your name? And just immediately look at you.
and the two. Oh, wow. All right. Never mind then. So that's what happens.
Yep. Come on. Yeah. And I'm just trying to make them all feel very welcome, very easy.
Servilia's mouth, your sister's mouth, when she sees that. I was about to describe how she goes into this kind of awkward curtsy, awkward bow, not really sure
If she had 2 kids, I'd be juggling.
what to
I'd be
do.
hello.
But she's just watching.
And while she tries to do that type of bow, I'd entirely like, it's okay.
Make. I know I said it. This is the last one. God damn it! All these details. Make an insight check. You automatically get it because of your passive insight.
That is a natural 20. Crit. Dude, this black dice.
Donnie, you weren't
God, I
supposed.
found
No,
it.
you weren't.
You gave it to me.
Donnie, you were not supposed to get this detail though. It was supposed to be a waste only thing.
Sucker for
Okay.
details.
Okay, so you catch this because of your ridiculous, just kind of you're always plus you're near the food cart anyway, so you're always monitoring. I'm gonna make a deception check just to.
Also crits. Like,
Oh boy.
Yes.
Really?
oh no.
I don't want to rob you of that though.
Do it.
Okay, so this God, you're so mean to him. Okay, so this is what happens. This is what happens.
I love this. So.
You still catch it. You still catch it because that deception check was for one person and one person only.
Sorry, Donnie.
So you still catch it. You feel eyes on you, even though it's circumspect. And when you glance over, you see Lady Vale look away from you, and she's back to stroking Erebus and arranging the pilum correctly. What you see, Wasa, is when he grabbed that kid like that and threw him up on his shoulders. There was just a moment where she looked over there, and she stared. Why? You don't know. But this woman who has been fixed on how many yards away the men are marching from each other, from one another, whether or not they have their bow strung, what the makeup of their armor is, what the ratio of military to civilian are, all of these things. Took time out of all of that, and she was just staring for like a good 2-3 beats at that interaction. And then you notice as soon as he felt the eyes, which is unusually perceptive for him, he felt the eyes, she looked away and got busy with her barding on the horse, on the equine, I should say.
Do I smell anything on her?
Too far away. You have to get closer. Okay. Yes,
I am
Randy,
actually
sorry.
openly watching this because I'm checking it. Like, I've never seen anything like this before from like a magistrate or higher.
I'm gonna put something to you, and if you answer however you like. In the midst of organizing the most important diaspora of your character's life, is he paying attention to the superiors?
No, he's paying attention to his family.
Okay. All right. If you'd said yes because it's about survival, I would have allowed that, but I was thinking you would be with the family too. Okay. All right. Obviously, don't worry about notes. I meant to have photocopies of this and pass this out before the game. Didn't happen. We're still working on process. I'm going to do, even though this is kind of ridiculous, I'm going to do a quick roll call. I'm going to just shotgun through these so that you guys have some sense of kind of like of who's with you. All right, so you have so Randy, why don't you get through your family quickly? We've got like 30 names here.
Yeah, we do. We have Servilia, which is my...
No. Sorry, hon. Not just your immediate family, and I'll shotgun through the NPCs.
So I have me, my wife, Alba. We have Marius, and then his twin, Maria. And...
Lucia.
Lucia, thank you.
Yeah.
And then Lucia is the youngest. She's probably glommed onto Mom's hip right now.
Actually, she's looking jealously at her cousin Quinta because Quinta has gotten the attention of the pretty lady, and now Lucia wants the attention of the pretty lady. Don't worry, Lucia won't let you forget her. So you have his older brother, although he seems to be very much in charge, Servilius. He looks like he's, people don't live very long in this world, so he looks like he's pretty close there. He has his grown daughter Lucilla. And these are all kind of in order: Pulex, Decimus, Opiter, Octavia. Octavia's 5, all the way to 5. Does not have a wife. His sister, Servilia, her kind of diffident-looking, nervous-looking husband, Quintus. And for their 4 kids, you have Procula, Quintilis, Quinta. Quinta is your admirer, by the way. She's 7 winters. And she's now brawling with her cousin. She's now competing with her cousin, his daughter, Lucia, for your attention. And then the 2-year-old that's currently, the 2-winter-old that's currently riding high, 6.5 feet tall in the air, Aulus. So 1 step removed from you, although, as we had talked before, now, Randy, you're now considering them, basically, these are your kith and kin. Mm-hmm. So you had Tullius, his wife Drusa, and then her mother, Tullius, his wife Drusilla, her mother Drusa. Marcus, one hand, is with them, has kind of glommed onto them. Then some of the latecomers who did make it out of Pulex. I didn't want to take the time to even just roll call them briefly, but you have Publius Major, Publius Minor, and his wife Valessa. To me, the notes are amusing. I amuse myself. Cowardly fisherman and his long-suffering wife. So there you go. And then for your purposes, there are 2 brothers. You're eyeing any man who can fight here, and some of the women. So you have Agrippa and Nonus, who look like they know their way around a club. Those are brothers. They have their sister, Numeria, with them. And Numeria has her 2 smaller children. So there is quite a bit happening with this group. And like I said, if you're with this group next session, then I will definitely get this photocopied and have this out to you. lastly, I just as all this is tying, and this comes up in the context of you're tying the children to their adults. Corey, you come up to one kind of dowdy boy. He has his face screwed up. Normally I would have mentioned him to you, but even for your character, you have a lot going on.
Right.
You can keep track of a lot, but you are at capacity right now. And this kid, he's maybe 12 winters old. And
He's taller than me.
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm thinking, yeah. No, they're gonna be taller than you.
You aren't.
Yeah, you're like 3. Yeah, you're like 3. You're 3'5". Yeah. So, and about 3'5" and about 3'5". You know, so it's like a dwarf with a hobbit head or something. So
A barrel with a bow.
a barrel with the bow. I like that. That'll be your short descriptor, just barrel with a bow. So
Adorable.
Great.
Throw out my tribal nature, thank you.
and yeah, so this kid is next to a girl who's maybe 8 winters, and you can see her eyes are puffy. She's kind of wiping at herself. No use blubbering, there ain't. He's a rotter now. Don't say that. Well, he's a rotter now.
I walk out.
Okay. And the reason this is coming up is because they're children. They have no adults to tie them to.
You.
Yeah. He turns around, almost looking like he's ready to fight.
Her name.
Well, me dad was Nibius Major, Nibs, and I'm was Nibius Minor, but they call me Niblet.
Niblet.
But am I Nibius Major now, or I still Niblet? Who cares? Daddy's dead. Daddy's dead, and you don't care at all. I hate you.
And your sister here. Her name,
Tulla.
Lassie. Tola.
Crier. That's her name. Crier. He's a Rada. It doesn't matter.
You don't have anyone to tie to.
She actually tries to hit him and move away from him. And he grabs, pretty roughly, he grabs her arm and yanks her back. Ah!
Why don't you tie yourself to me? I'll make sure you're safe. And you get to see up front. You get to see everything from the front. You get to be with me. Get scouting. How'd you like that?
Perhaps he would. Why don't you make a persuasion check?
Oh. 16.
Total. Okay. That's pretty good for old Merrick. That's pretty good for Sergeant Sunshine over there. So okay, he looks at you for a second. All right. Suppose, you out-towners, you're gonna need some help anyway, aren't you?
We will.
Don't want you falling into a bog.
No. Not a bog.
And
you want to ride on my shoulders?
she finally manages to yank her arm away from her brother.
I just pick her up.
Okay.
She's the same height she was.
She's shaking, and then
Yeah. Slatch on here. Oh. I need the extra weight for... It's been a while since I've worked out with extra weight on. The march will be good for me. All these men are getting a little fat. Not doing enough marching. You understand?
This is adorable.
Talk to her.
she doesn't say anything. She just takes her fingers, Corey, and digs them into your collar, so you can feel her. You can feel her dirt. Her dirt stained and torn fingers. Apparently,
Onto the cloak. The cloak's good.
unless you adjust it, she doesn't respond.
Okay.
She's just there.
Bother me at all?
No. I mean, her weight. You have it with your power. Her weight is negligible.
You get really good sight. Bird's eye sight, actually.
Okay, make another persuasion check.
Come on, girl.
9.
Okay.
Yep.
She doesn't try to kick off of you, but she also doesn't respond. just keeps, mainly she's just kind of containing quiet sobs. And every so often she'll look at her, she'll kind of glare at her brother, and then go back to her inner world.
Share trouble, share joy, little one. I start waggling forward.
Okay.
I also love the bird's eye view, and then a guy walking next to her is still just a little bit taller. It's like very adorable. Like, that's why it's a bird's eye. Yeah. It's so cute.
You notice these two children that Merrick is kind of corralled, but you can see just her face, Tulla's face, the girl on top of him, her face is just a mask of detached misery right now. You also know, you can see her hands. Eventually, I'll say, because we're going to skip over some time. You'll it's kind of, there's a think of this almost as like a moving caterpillar, where these different parts, sometimes there's discipline, and you're always, I'm not going to go through all the minutiae of where the men are, but I assume you're protecting them and all of that. Pretty much that's SOP with y'all. But the important part is that the different interactions happen as you're moving around, unless you specifically tell me as players that you're sticking to one section of these people. In that context, you had gotten to Tulla, and it clicks with you that her father and this somewhat older boys must be Nibs who got buried. That Marcus said did Final Spark, the rites of Final Spark for. Where do you park yourself, Nullishly?
I feel like at this point, as we start taking off, I'm going to be catching up with Catryn.
Okay.
About why we're here and what all these people are, like, who are they? So is that fair? We had, like, you told me, you give me the download at this point.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And if they were close enough, I was a Lady Vale, I'd keep my distance so they'd be able to catch up without her kind of overhearing.
And can I ask at this point, that feeling that I kind of had walking into the glade, does it get stronger as I'm walking more north?
Yes.
It does. And is there like, can I get a sense of what it is? Is there like a something I feel?
How are you going to try to pursue that sense? What are you invoking? What are you calling to you?
I mean,
what are you focusing on?
Maybe I would make a religion check.
Oh, you will. You will. What? So for example, when the first time that you encountered this, for the audience at home, this was all pre-gamed. So the first time that you encountered that you had this vision hit you was when you passed those tracks that led to the horror house, the slaughterhouse.
It's a similar feeling I'm getting.
It's a similar feeling. It's a similar feeling, but it's not so embodied this time. I mean, then you felt it kind of rushing through your veins, through your divine construct veins. This time, it's more nebulous, Allie. It's more kind of in the air and in the atmosphere. Okay, make the first religion roll, and then if you get this may give you the jumping off point. Okay.
Nice.
Mermaid dice, let's go. Oh. No! 9.
So you do feel something. This is where you're supposed to be. You can't, unless you as the player kind of figure out how you want to direct your attention, your sacred attention. I want to almost say with the capital A. Nillishly herself, you can't quite get past. You can't quite make it resolve into something concrete for you, like a vision, like you did last time. Last time you bent down, you touched the tracks, you knew that kid was on his way, and basically everything you saw, by the way, as it's played out, basically everything has come to pass pretty much as you thought. He did arrive. You did render aid. Pulex was, there was a disaster unfolding in Pulex. So,
do I get a sense like that it's dangerous?
It's always dangerous, baby. Is there an acute danger right now? No. But I'll say this. your mind would tell you that you should be, by all rights, you should be leaving danger and going to safety, right? You're going home. You're going to the walls of Germentum, et cetera, et cetera. You don't necessarily feel that you're going from danger to safety right now. You feel like you're threading the shoals of a racing river. That's what you're feeling. Okay. So if at any point during the session it comes to you how you want to train that sacred attention to, just pop off with it, okay? All right. Corey, normally I wouldn't have you make any survival check, and certainly if you were just directing the Fellowship or Myrmidons, this is more going to be because you're
Complicated, yeah.
Well, you're a representative of the old power. Also, mechanically, you have a level in Ranger, so this is you're well aware of this terrain. But you have a lot of civilians with you. You have a lot of children with you, and infirm. Some of them are injured from what they've endured and survived in the last 3.5 days. So, with advantage, make a survival roll. And let me just see if there's a bog incident or something like that.
16 plus survival. 20.
All right.
20.
Okay. You continue to wend your way through. You are keenly aware that you are making less than half the time that you would make. I mean, the cart is trundling along. The cart's going to be lighter pretty soon because you've got a lot of mouths to feed. But the cart's trundling along. It's not even really the cart though. It's mainly the fact that you have elderly, injured, and small children.
Is there any way that we can facilitate them? Whether it's some sort of cot thing or riding on the cart or someone carrying them. Is there any way basically to rearrange this a bit?
Carrying is probably your best bet because ladling too many on the cart's just going to bog the cart down even more. I mean, even though he's being like a sweetheart over here, actually it does help that you don't have a 2-year-old, a toddler that you're trying to, that you're either trying to carry or that you're trying to, cajole to go leagues and leagues.
Domine!
Yes.
I believe if we had some of these injured carried, we'll make double the pace. Right now it's a little slow.
Marcus, any of your kin is able to carry your kin that may be injured? I can't spare the men to drop any attention.
Your brother shrugs. Yep.
No, I suppose so.
Yeah. Carry the children that you can.
Cool.
Carry your elderly if you can. Elishley?
Hi.
Marcus, do you have anyone who would be able to be carried by her?
I look around the group and party.
Me! So Octavia runs over, and she runs over and she tries to hug you. She tries to hug like your waist.
And yeah, I think at this point I'm just like looking down at her, but her little arms hugging me like kind of feels nice, and I'm just gonna pick her up and put her right on my shoulders.
Okay.
That was easier than I thought it would be.
Can we put Hortensia in the cot? She's probably amongst the oldest of us.
Under the cot? On the cot. Oh, okay.
I believe on the cot might be good.
You can put it on the spare donkey for the time being.
They're gonna.
Till we start losing the cot.
You're not walking.
They're gonna try to.
Do what?
They're gonna try to lead me into the bog.
They ain't.
You'll be all right.
I won't let them.
Some lord.
You might want to.
Just as a note, because the Utini have been active here in the area, I'm going to keep an eye out for any tracks or signs of that as well.
Yeah, so are
As
that.
I'm
Okay.
The Decker in the front as well.
Sure.
And I have an Utini check with advantage that I'm supposed to remind you of.
Ooh.
You are indeed. So if you, right, because we need to see if you become like the Utini Whisper or something.
Yeah.
So just keep track of how you do with Utini related items. All right, and that might become a feature for our girl.
They are my sworn enemy, so I get all those benefits.
They do. However, you are on kitty patrol right now.
Yes.
Salai, who is not as strong as you, but is the closest to you in skill. Actually, he's your equal in Corporal Salai is your equal in skill, but not speed for traversing. because you kind of have that weird old power, double time going on. So he's going ahead until the light fades. He's going ahead and scouting and kind of doing what you would normally do. The fact that he's only half as quick as you is just fine because you guys are so slowed down. So he can.
Doesn't matter anyway.
Basically, right. The ratio pretty much remains the same. And speaking of dying light, you traverse through the bog-lands, and I didn't really talk about this on the way down. Basically, where the Kithgi, one of the tributaries of the Kithgi, comes down. So normally we'd be going north, but because of how the river flows and how you have to go, you eventually do have to cut west. So you're going to be fording this tributary, basically west, and then you can resume north. Right? That's the safest way to do it. There's some potentially quicker ways to do it. Again, if you were traveling as just the Fellowship, that's one thing, but people are you have to
safe is the best.
Make do with what you've got. So you do not make that. Actually, either Corey, since you had the idea, or Randy, since they're your people, make a medicine check for me and see how well people are being carried and distributed. As far as the injured go.
You want me to roll as well? Okay.
Nice one.
Ooh, we love
Nice.
18.
24.
Nice.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
The god's favor.
I try not to. No, I mean it's really important not to gloss over these things.
Oh yeah.
But wow. All right. Yeah. I mean, you're doing exactly what you need to do. So, you see one of the Decuri say, right. Okay. Not like that. You see where his injury is, and he's talking to your brother, and he actually guides your brother through how to get under this guy and help move him. And once your shoulder gets tired, it won't. But once your shoulder gets tired, just get on the other side of him, and like a mirror. Once a mirror, when you change place, when your shoulder gets tired, it won't. When your shoulder gets tired and you need to change, then I'll show you that side, okay? Right. And so there's actually some learning going on as you all are going. Anika, I'm going to say that you brought the elderberry paste.
Yes.
That's been used.
Yes.
Okay. So go ahead and mark that off. So you tend to the wounded. You seek out the nastiest burns and cuts to try to prevent them from getting tainted. And that's just, we won't play through that, but you're trying to that's part of that role.
Sure.
And you're not the only person doing that, by the way, because you also brought medical supplies with you on the cart. Mm-hmm. And
Alba would probably have her own as well to help along.
Honestly, she tells you, got some, they have some good stuff they does. Good stuff.
It's time to learn as much as you can.
And she's actually sniffing at some of the paste. Elderberry, I think. But question strong.
Maybe the preparation of it, maybe?
I don't know.
We should ask it later, once we're fought.
Agreed. And she's taken, she has various kids she's wrangling as well. And she's held onto your hand, though, for miles at different times. And when you have to part, you part, but she always comes back to you.
And my hand has been doing that weird tingly thing about every 40 seconds or so.
It's slowed down. It's slowed down.
As she's holding my hand, do you feel that?
Huh?
Does my hand feel different to you in any way? Every, 34 seconds?
Husband, I've been feeling the same hand for my whole life.
Noted. Sorry I asked.
She gives you a peck on the cheek.
I can give her one right back.
This is adorable.
This is so cute.
I brought some of my special pies, right? I have a little bit of specialness in them.
Yes.
Okay. And I would share them with the kids, little bits, just to get them in some good spirit.
Are you getting more kids high?
The local drug dealer.
Wait a minute.
Wait, sir, drug dealer overnight.
Adderallian Arpo meat.
Don't worry about it.
You're gonna have proficiency with this,
Okay.
regardless. But You're going to have proficiency with this regardless, but so you get your +2. You can choose either nature or medicine.
We've got a 7.
Total? Okay. So
Happy to die for the night.
some of them,
Just gives them too much.
We can't walk another minute. We're so full.
no, that's not what happens with that.
Oh no.
So that's a nice Roy pie, that is. And one of the girls, you see her eyes are, she's just grinning ear to ear. This is Procula. She's 11 winters. She's the oldest child of his sister. So his oldest.
Just trying to light.
Well, one of the only. Yeah, just lighten the mood. You're doing what you can do, and she likes you, and she's kind of bumping into you, and she starts humming. She starts singing. The Lord of Light watches us. He watches us, yes, he does. The Lord of Light, he watches us. And we are... What was I saying? And she just keeps... And this kind of keeps up for a while.
Perfect.
Okay.
This is exactly what I wanted.
Okay, well, there you go.
Highest spirits
You're
for
just
the children.
you're
Oh, you made a pun.
you're failing into success. I love it. No, it's good.
It's perfect.
You made a pun.
And so you get to this the leagues, I guess I should say, about three plus of them roll by. The bog starts to get heavier. The trees more not desperate, but the adaptations to their environment more obvious, more slap you across the face than subtle. Of course, you've long since passed where you got caught out at.
How I normally get. I guess you know what, I was running. Never mind. I was running, and so much I didn't pay attention. Probably past that point.
Yeah. I mean, there's no route to Pulex on land that isn't from Germentum, that isn't through a bog, but you guys are, again, going the safest route. So the daylight begins to wane, and I feel really silly.
Do we know?
Sorry, it's supposed to be. This is all public though.
Do we know if we're gonna make it out of the bog by the time sunlight hits, or based on the pacings?
You're cutting it close.
Are we catching any of the treks or things that he posted out prior for us to make our way back, since we just came through there earlier that day?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just know, because I figured that we'd leave markings of places that we know we were safe and places that we
Dominic.
were there. Aye, Minik.
We're cutting it close to get out of the bog. We need to camp in the forest. Green, much safer. Can we do anything to speed this up? I start thinking about logistics or anything.
You're doing what you can do.
Do you think the kids can run? The ones who are able to run. Double pace.
Perhaps if we gave them more food, they ate the food, we could lighten up the cart.
Give them the food, they get an appetite, right?
Are they hungry?
They would be well fed now, wouldn't they?
It would be.
Oh boy.
Your passenger, Octavia, she starts to try to braid your hair.
Yeah,
Okay.
I let her.
Okay.
Yeah.
In that just very kid way, like it doesn't even occur to her that she would be in trouble, for trying to braid your hair. You've never had your hair braided before.
No. No. It's all
A little
kinds
game of
Yeah.
yeah.
hide and seek.
The fields are real.
Let's open ourselves up for attack if we try to rush.
All right, just moving forward. So he goes back to his position then.
Okay.
I'll try to increase the pace in whichever way I can, but I also don't want to risk any type of procedure that would have kept us safe from A, either misstepping, or B, not being aware of something coming.
Your men look at you. Sergeant Emilius looks back at you, and kind of with that battlefield telepathy, he nods deeply to you. He understands it is what it is. You do make the tributary as the last vestiges of the day go, but you're not going to try to ford that at night. So you're on the very edge of You're on the very edge of the bog now. It's not even really. It's not quite proper. It's not quite proper bogland anymore. But it's this weird halfway house between delta and bog, so it has its own perils. Ground is spongy. Animals are kind of weird.
How far is the delta across? Like, is that where canoes go? I mean, tell me a little more about that.
So you came to the spot specifically because this is something that that at this time of year, you're able to, if you're careful, even with elderly, the cart's going to be a bear. But this is the way you came to get here, so it can be done. It's just, you'd be dangerous to get caught out. I mean, if you got ambushed while you're in the middle of trying to ford the river, it's at a low point here, you'd be in trouble.
Should we pull back a little bit from there? I'm looking for the best place to camp, and I'll work with Titus and the other men to strategically figure out where we want to camp.
No, the river's a clear place.
Okay.
A clear place to camp because it protects a good chunk. You're going to hear anybody trying to come. You're going to hear anybody trying to come through. And the Utini don't generally, actually, off the top of your head, Merrick can't think of a single time. And this kind of occurs to him as maybe a weird thing about them.
Yeah.
You can't think of them ever taking any of these obvious waterways off of the main river, off of the Kithgi. Even though, I mean, they dock at places that are farther away, and they do raid inland sometimes, but they don't try to take these tributaries in when they could. Certainly pirates do, none tonight.
Mm-hmm. Say dig and make camp.
What's up?
We dig and make camp.
Yeah, dig and make camp.
Lady Vale falls. She had gotten here. She had gotten here first. Waited. She assumed that you weren't going to try to ford at night. So
yeah.
She's actually, while she was waiting, you see her massaging Erebus, rubbing him down. This patrician, this powerful, somewhat regal, patrician woman rubbing down this animal.
It's like out of a book. Yeah. It's like, geez. Yeah, I guess we would immediately start up, fall in line, set up our directives, and we'd start digging a trench around the side that we just came from, putting up whatever sharp sticks, anything that we could to kind of make a good defense and light fires.
Okay.
Do a small,
I'll get you a second, huh?
decent perimeter check. Just, I'll get time. So, I'm gonna scout.
Understood.
So I'll just do a perimeter check to make sure I don't see anything immediate in terms of footprints or things in the vicinity.
This is the time of greatest danger because the Utini like the twilight.
And I will take my cloak and everything else that I have.
All right. Right. So you start to make camp, Randy.
With the new design of the fire that we made while we were under siege, that totally
where it was
smokeless,
greatly reduced smoke. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Could set up one of those for the fam, for the kin.
Okay, I'll see what I can do.
Teach anyone who's interested in learning.
Well, they better all be interested in learning at this point.
Be, but they might not. So if they come up, just show them. If they do, great. If they don't, well, we have our fire.
All right, Ubs.
Position the card for cover.
Glad to be here.
With us. And like a shoulder squeeze as we move on our way, making sure all the kids are hurdled up, even counting.
Yeah, at this point, you're. Well, actually, Corey, do you want to keep the kids tied to each other when you're going to go forward, or do you untie them for the night?
I mean, for the night, I don't think it makes sense to keep them tied together. So yeah, Marcus, I'll ask Marcus. I'll let Marcus decide on that.
Okay.
He does his family kin best, but during the forge, we'll need to have them tied.
Of course. For now, I guess just let them stretch out a bit, but not go too far. We'll keep an eye on our kid. It's all good.
Tie them to each other before they go to sleep.
Of course.
Thank you. Can't have any children running around.
How long did you keep Owlis on your back?
Probably 75% of the day.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. He was getting spoiled.
If it would have been any other child, I would have been switching off that kind of thing, putting him in the cart, kind of making it 75% of carrying a child at some point or another.
Okay.
Okay, was Nibis observing, keeping, instruction, or at least I could tell from his capabilities in terms of absorbing the knowledge.
Aside from occasional bouts of uncontrolled sobbing, which he then tried to cover up quickly, he was actually doing a pretty good job. He's a survivor, but Corey, he wants to live. And despite the fact that he's glaring at and sometimes roughing up his sister, he wants her to live too. All right, so as we near our intermission and the Fellowship and their charges have made it to this tributary, you look around. You're scouting. Make a survival check with advantage. Actually, Corey, I'm sorry. The disadvantage cancels it out, so just straight, because it is now dark. That doesn't count.
It's a 40.
It's a 40. Wow, how did that happen?
I'll show you another time. It was crazy.
It is. That's pretty good. Survival?
Yeah.
17.
All right, so your corporal counterpart, he cleared any obvious danger. And you have to say you've been impressed. You've been impressed by him. I mean, he really is your equal in skill. Mm-hmm. Not strength by any means, but in skill. So it's just something. I mean, Utini, the Utini are Utini, and for some reason, you feel the urge to do the old trick of, and sometimes you just do this to ground yourself, of placing your eye down and looking at the horizon and the ground, because even in the dark, Corey, you can still see movement. There's enough of the bright moon to see that. And you see some, they're being careful, being quiet, disciplined. You see some group hugging, not quite hugging the river, probably because they don't want to run the risk of being spotted from the river, but they're not taking the same overland trail that you had. You can't tell with that roll at that distance. You can't at night. You can't tell how many. But so if you're kind of here as you're about to forge, they're taking a longer path around, and it looks like they're
on the river towards the riverside, though.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm here.
Yeah.
The river forge is here.
Right.
And they're on this side.
They're on the same side as you.
Okay.
They're on the same side as you, but they're closer. They're almost hugging the river. They're a lot closer.
They're closer to the river then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But not close enough to where we can be seen. Got it. Okay.
Right. Or not. Maybe they did spot you. Remember, your group is pretty darn noisy.
Yep.
As far as these games are concerned, but for whatever reason, they either didn't spot you, or they've chosen not to engage.
How far out am I from the main camp?
I mean, you've been running like 200 feet away or so, 300 feet away. So I'll say, well, let's say half a football field right now.
I'm going to fire an arrow with a red flag.
Okay. They will not be able to see the color. It's too dark.
I'll fire an arrow and let them decide towards the camp.
Okay. And because it's night, because it's early night, you cannot differentiate exactly who's where. You're not going to get, I mean, you can roll, you're not going to hit somebody, but you're not necessarily going to get it like during the day. You could just get it right at his feet,
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll land there's probably a guard or a torch or whatever. Based on doing this in the past, probably in front of that.
Actually, that's a good point. Did you go quiet, or do you have lights? Or do you have fire?
We have certain light. Yeah, we have light.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead and roll. I know
19.
I know you're shooting at 4. So the fellowship could be anywhere, but you know how the decury operates. So you're going to shoot it to the person. You're going to shoot it to the fire watch. He grabs that, disciplined men, basically elite troops, picks it up. They're not surprised. I mean, they know, they know who you are and how you operate. Takes the arrow to you, immediately to you, and shows you without a word in the torchlight.
Yeah, I just immediately take it, look almost like playing poker. I don't want anyone else to see or anyone else to worry. But like,
Get the men surrounded by the turtle. Give me my company close here. Have Lady Vale. Tell Marcus, but tell Marcus not to tell his family. Put them all in the center. Turtle up. Might be expecting someone.
Aye, Domini. And
How fast can I make it back? Is it kind of based on the Utini are being pretty slow, cautious, right? So I should hopefully be able to make it back faster.
we will determine that when we get back.
Got it.
And we will see all of you on the flip side of this. We're going to have, just like last time, we're going to have an intermission video, roughly 15 minutes. Hopefully an improved version of what we had last time with a bit more information for you, or not. But we'll see. We will see you when we return, and we will determine what is going on with our intrepid fellowship and their charges. If you will get the candle. That's awesome. Okay, see you then.
all right. Yeah.
a voice to greet the rising sun. Your splendorous touch burns away the dark. With a soft golden hue, your world is made anew. We follow the path you've laid.
welcome back, and welcome back to all of my lovely players. Before we go on, I did want to say that our wonderful composer, Steve Gurns, his music is available if anyone out there would like to use it for their own campaign or their own purposes. Links in the description. Check it out. This music has inspired me. This music has bolstered me. This music has kept me going. I always listen to it as I'm working on stuff for Darkeport. So I think it has a lot of soul, and that's just volume 1. So more to come. More to come on that. Thank you, Steve. All right. So, Kendall, see, you're on it. You're on it.
I got you. Little.
Okay. As you're making your way back, I know forest is. Did you pick bog as your other terrain, as your other favored terrain?
I don't get another train right now.
Oh, it's just one. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're not. So you're at half.
Yes.
You're at half speed, and yeah, that's right. Yeah. You make a perception roll, Corey. You're gonna hear something one or the other, but I want to see how well you resolve it.
That will be a 15.
Okay. You hear 3 different things at the same time. You're hearing some of this. You're hearing 3 different things at the same time. One of them is the rustling of weapons. The readying. This you know well.
Yeah.
The second is a sharp command. Ochise, ima, kambata. And it's in a oddly feminine voice. It also does not sound like the guttural Utini that you are used to, whatever the heck they call their language. And the third is crashing. Coming rapidly detaching from that group.
Where?
Coming toward you.
Oh, shit.
That's the reaction.
How many?
One huge, one massive thing tearing through. Repeat it again. Ochise, Iba. Okay, are you running?
I'm running.
Okay, as you turn, you feel something tear into your back, and it radiates out pain. Hits that's 9 points of. Actually, I'm not even going to tell you what kind of damage it is yet. 9 points of not fun.
Ow. Ow.
So you turn, you start hauling ass as stealth is gone. Okay, your men have a perimeter. They're turtled up, and Vale looks at you, and she starts moving toward the crashing. Priest, go. You're going to get intact. I gave my word, and so you will be. No argument there. And he tries to, kind of. No, he wouldn't do that, but basically crawling. Yeah, he was like, would he crawl under the cart? He's not going to go that ridiculous.
No, I would have everyone like, no, Lady Vale, stay back here. We don't know what's coming. All we know is it's an attack.
She pauses, and she's kind of positioned herself. She's kind of positioned herself where she's apart from your group, but also still river at her back. What cover there is available.
People need you too.
Your people, Vorn, not mine.
The people. Vale.
She doesn't say anything back, and you crash through just about the time that something catches up to you, and we're gonna go ahead and put our little babies in.
Do I see it since I'm out of the turtle?
Oh yeah. Okay, so here's the deal. You've got kind of this bog, the last gasp of the bog-lands. You selected it because it actually did have a makeshift, or not makeshift, but a long-standing bridge over here, twisted trees around it, and then over there kind of represents the beginnings of the actual forest. And you guys were going to have to cut west. Let's see, Corey, let me go ahead and get you first. Yeah. Yay, T-Rex arms. Okay. So you were coming from here.
Yep.
And I'm going to say your men, the people, largely over here. And how close, realistically, Marcus, what are you doing right now?
I hear the crash. I'm moving towards the children. I'm gathering them all up.
All right. So yeah, that makes sense. So you're gonna.
And I'm gathering up the guys as well, the men's and the women's who want to fight.
Yeah.
It'd just be like forming a line between us and the kids.
Okay. So that's off there, Catryn. How I assume you're running up and you're going to be kind of SOP behind Titus, off to the side, or are you going to be further back?
Further back, I think.
Okay.
I think for her too. I think she wants to tap into Eternal River and see if she can see anything. But when he got hit, did we see any like sort of flash of light? Was there anything?
There was something. If you give me, it's going to be hard, but go ahead and make an Arcana check.
I'd love to. 17.
Whatever it was some kind of will working, but it came out of nowhere.
Okay.
Is this far enough back, or you?
Yeah. That's
Okay. All right. Wesa, where are we? Pass our pie bearer.
Pie.
Instead of a ring bearer or pie bearer.
Are you hungry?
She literally has the pie.
Hungry for what boy? Get ready.
Colin fruit. Colin fruit vendor. Whereabouts is she gonna be?
I'd like to be by that what's the ground like by that tree? The tree.
Boggy. Boggy, but not dangerous.
Okay, is it boggy everywhere?
It's firming up. I mean, this is kind of the last gasp of the bog.
Right.
It's finally letting its clutch go. It's going to be firm over there, but
Okay, well, I'd like to be by and I'm sorry. So the sounds are coming from that way.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. So could I be by this tree right here, closest to me?
That far? Okay. Yeah. No, you have time. I mean, if you started running, wow. Okay. Bold.
Yes.
Maliciously.
You're a tree the pie.
Eat trees are angry too.
You look like you're hungry.
I think, Wace is being quite bold, and I feel
obligated.
Yeah, a little bit. So I would say I would be like just next or kind of in between those two front trees. Yeah.
Like about here?
Mm-hmm.
Woo,
My
okay.
girl.
Oh, God.
Okay. And as your short-legged friend bursts out, you see. I know, Marcus. It's okay. Don't worry. They'll likely have need of you after this. A nightmarish figure rushes out, and you hear it's decades of received wisdom in Germentum about the Utini. Of course, there's the famous 1v1 of the Old Lion of Titus Invictus fighting their chieftain who spearheaded the last great attack on the city 30 winters back. And this thing must be related to it, because as it comes charging out, it's quite quick, too. Some sort of hideous cross between a lupine and something otherworldly. It haven't gotten around to it yet, but primarily grays and greens. It has a pronounced snout. Its tusks look more like short blades. there, not just the little daggers that would normally be associated with the snout of the Utini, their preferred way of killing. It has some crude but massive stone sword ? And it's wielding something else. It's brandishing something else, and what's presumably its offhand. But this is all happening like this, so you can't. You don't have a chance to do that. So it's coming up, and even though you are quicker than it in reaction time, you are slower than it on the ground.
As it gets close, I want to pull up and go underneath its legs using my nimbleness. Twice as big as me.
Okay. So you're trying to you're trying to dart
ability
through.
to go through. Yeah,
Sure.
Use that ability.
Make an acrobatics roll.
Oh yeah. 18 plus acrobatics. 23.
Okay.
America.
Boom. You're sticking on it? Or are you trying to like dash? Are you trying to run out?
No, I'm sticking on it. I want to go into the legs and kind of on the backside.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. As you, that's a really high roll. Let me see how well it's tracking you. Now, I'll let that roll stand. I'm just going to remind you guys this is happening at night.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. No, you were too quick. It didn't track you. So there's a physically it could have, and maybe by the rules, but there's a mental processing piece
I
to it.
see
Which
it kind of go down to it.
It tries to follow him.
Okay.
It tries to follow him for a second because prey never darts back. That's really weird.
Yeah.
That's a very, very weird thing. So Dex 20, we just go by dexterities for ease and to me realism. All right, so 18.
All you're gonna see Catryn do is crouch onto the ground while she's still staring forward. She can see him, right, in plain view, or no?
You're seeing this hulking, shadowy shape.
Okay. I can still see the shape of him.
You
though?
can still see the shape.
Fabulous. So she's gonna crouch onto the floor really quick. She's gonna put her hand on the ground. She's gonna stare forward, and all she's gonna say is "Verum."
Okay.
Nothing is really gonna happen. You just see her fully concentrate on this guy.
How are you? So, as you drop down, and you're pulling it in, how are you shaping the mana as you tap into the river?
I'm taking it from the ground.
Okay.
So it's literally just her kind of putting her hand down and kind of soaking up that mana.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can't really see anything because it's
No.
just her hand on the ground. She looks crazy. What is she doing? But she is pulling all of that mana, and then she's kind of just like expelling it through the ground instead of above, and so it's going through his feet. And I just want to see what his what his defenses are. I want to see what I can see from that, if that makes sense.
Okay. Do you want to explain mechanically to the audience real quick what
Yeah.
you're doing, so that because we kind of have a crazy custom thing going on with magic, and I don't want people to be like, "What the?"
I'm essentially doing True Strike. So
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out. Trying to get a brief insight into his defenses to see what his weaknesses are, essentially.
And normally, I like the way that you describe that. Go ahead and make an Arcana check.
10.
Okay. You can see some potential physical weaknesses. You might even be able to call out to Merrick where to strike. You know that there's more to look, but there's so much chaos right now, Anika, going on that you can't get any deeper look or deeper insight into him.
Okay.
Okay, so that's what you do. 16, and tie break on your wisdom. So you're next.
This being is charging in a certain direction, or just that way?
Charging toward on the kids.
Kids.
Marcus over here, Decuri.
Got it. And can I climb that tree?
Sure.
I'll check in with you. I'd assume that my bow has been strung all day because we're walking and kind of guarding.
I gave you the warning about them coming before they would have been attacking. So
I'm gonna say yeah. You had the warning. It probably wouldn't have been because you don't want the bow to warp. But when he gave you the warning, it would have been strong.
Okay.
Good catch. Yeah.
Okay.
Good ask.
I want to envenom one of my arrows, and maybe on my next turn I'm gonna.
I think if memory serves, you already had.
I already have it.
Yeah, you already had one. It was
so
in
prepared.
Oh my god.
Well, then I would like to very stealthily begin to just get higher in this tree, because I want to aim at this being's neck.
At the neck.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and make an athletics roll.
Athletics roll?
I'm in, dude.
You sure it's not a stealth roll?
I am, in fact.
Dang it.
Reasonably easy tree to climb.
14.
14. Okay.
Not the negative.
Oh my
Until
God.
you start creeping up. In fact, Tatiana, it is paying. It's paying almost no attention to you at all. I may not even realize that you're there. So you just kind of by habit you're quiet. But you scamper up the tree. I'm not going to try to balance her precariously on the tree, but
It's only movement. You still can do an action.
but you're up.
I think.
No, you can. You can
I
actually.
can.
Yes.
You're right there.
Abundant. I would like to shoot at its neck.
Okay, go for it.
That is a dirty 20.
Dunk.
And then this is the envenom roll and then the regular
Yep.
roll, right?
Yep. So you have to decide what either way. Do you want to use two different colors?
This
Or
is
you
the
know.
envenom
Okay.
die. The chunky green one
Okay.
is the envenom die.
So yeah, give me them separately though, hun.
Okay, so the non-envenom one is 4,
Okay.
and then envenom is 1.
Okay. It hardly seems to notice as it sticks in. You did manage to penetrate its thick, almost rhinoceros-like hide, but didn't really do much. All right, 16 lower wisdom, so you go a beat after her, but you're up
Okay.
and you're moving before it.
All right, so at this point, I'm going to invoke my shadow armor, and I'm just going to, like, all the shadow moves up, my whole body, around the neck, head, back of the head, and it's just like this dark, swirling vortex of color around my body. So that's the first thing I'm doing. The second thing is, does it seem like it's moving in my direction or towards the children's? Like, more clearly.
You don't know yet.
I don't know yet. It's kind of like
Too much violence and snorting, and in that split second, Allie, it had looked back, and it's to be determined whether or not Merrick it's going to try to chase him around, or if it's just going to keep going.
Okay. And can I make an Arcana check to see if I sense anything?
Magic,
Yeah.
like will
Yeah,
about it.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
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 What is that? I can't see
This
this.
is a 6.
7.
Okay. Unsure.
Unsure. Okay. Well, in that case, I think at that point I'm going to be doing. How far can my ward extend out? I'm just wondering if I can put a ward in front of it and everyone that I'm around.
That's just yourself.
All right, ray of desiccation it is.
Okay, you've already taken the one magical action, so you'll have to wait until next round.
Yeah, that turning toward.
Do you want to move?
Is that tree? How far away is that tree to my behind me to my right?
It's roughly half your movement, a little bit less actually.
Can I get up to the top of that tree?
Give me you can certainly get to the base of it. Give me an athletics roll.
Sisters.
Yeah.
Catryn just goes over and climbs another tree. We're all on trees.
Yeah.
Thanks,
everyone.
16.
16. Those long rangy limbs just.
Get
Yep.
it.
Sweet.
You're pretty.
It's a party.
It might still be able to swat the two of you up in the trees, but
Oh shit.
Whatevs.
at least has to exert itself.
Okay.
You.
Yeah. Deadly, meals, ready range! And just have them get ready for longbow attacks. And during that, I will, I guess initially just kind of like, basically yell out everyone, come to me, but not singling out anywhere where you guys would be. Be like, on me! And then I would just immediately just toss a pylon trying to hit that sucker in the fucking head.
If you want to be in better range, you're going to have to move up a little bit, but you can.
How far? Because I think it's 80, 160.
Is it 80 for the pylon?
I was going by, I don't have it written down.
That might be
spear.
That might be right. I know.
I think it's 80, 160 something, yeah.
So I'm going to say, I mean, you're right at about 80. Yeah, that's good. That's good. You are, I should have made you roll with disadvantage because this is happening at night. So you're at so all these attack rolls are at disadvantage.
Where does the torch ring start? I'm just curious.
Oh, just way back here.
And I didn't bring a torch with me.
Nope.
Fuck. All right, yeah, I'll do it at disadvantage.
Okay, roll.
That is 17. Disadvantage is a 16 to hit. Oh no, 15 to hit.
15.
Mm-hmm.
It lodges into this morass of hides and skin, but you don't see it react to it. Wait, no, you're not doing much. Okay, that's everybody.
Actually, I do have some of the men actually watching the water behind us to make sure that they're not going to be sneaking up around.
Good call.
So there's a lot of attention focused in front, but
So Salai, Corporal Salai had taken a shot, really accurate, not accurate enough though in the dark. And you hear Domini, Emilius, your sergeant, who's a badass in his own right, running. So
I would call up a fire team with Emilius, but actually it would only be 2 others plus him, leave the rest at the back, and also instruct them to light the cart on fire so we can have better vision when they get closer.
You kind of feel her running up, and she had waited. Lady Vale had waited.
She has.
And for now, we're gonna go old school, guys. We're gonna use this for her. And so she's kind of taking a moment. You can feel her at her side. And you can feel her eyes on you. Are you gonna stay focused on this creature? Are you gonna glance
glance over as I'm pulling out my greatsword, just ready because I only have my 1 pylon on me.
She says, fight contrary to my rhythm. We'll rip it apart.
Yeah.
And it's big. So that's her turn. And then it finally gets to lumber around. It does not seem to be hampered by the darkness, Corey. Okay. Steps this way, not stupid enough to turn its back to everybody, but you just manage, you feel it whistling past your face to scamper out of the way. More commands from back here. This creature doesn't respond.
Like from one being?
The same voice.
One voice.
Yep, the same voice. Okay, you're up.
I guess Staro?
Yeah, Durham.
I will say, part of my enemy will worker 6 other, and then I'll do something else now.
Killing will worker.
Can I disengage?
Is your action?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
I will disengage and head to the tree.
To Oasis Tree?
Yeah, I don't know if she's in there or not. I'm so occupied. I'm heading to the nearest object that I can hopefully use as.
Yeah, it's funny. You should. Okay, this is the sound. What's his sound effect, Randy? There you go. So you're almost to the tree. This thing is fixated.
It's my tree.
So she's gonna yell to Titus. But do we need the light?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a wheel book behind it. You hear, Merrick?
I heard. And so, so she's gonna pull mana from the sky, and she's going to thrust it forward, and all you're gonna see is this sort of like liquid light that goes forward, and and she's gonna say Tripidum, and there's 4 balls of light that are going to be dancing.
That swirl into being.
Yeah.
Actually, simultaneously. Just
Can she separate them in a sense to where 2 are in front and 2 are closer to back here?
sure.
I want to illuminate everything that's happening,
What's
or
your
as much as I can.
What's your range on that, baby?
120.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. No, you got it. Yeah, you got it. I was remembering it's pretty okay.
No more disadvantage.
That's right.
Thank God.
And you hear the Lady Vale say, Lady Vale say, very good. She doesn't actually look at you, but just turns her head a little bit. By the way, you can feel the back of your left knee ache a little bit as your insight takes hold of the creature.
The back of my left knee. Okay.
Let's see how this supposed to work.
And let's see, at 18, what's your wisdom's really high.
19.
Okay. She explodes into action.
Okay.
About there. Watch your back, Scout. Out of some hidden compartment in the armor, you see just something dart through. There's this crazy moment. Yep. There's this crazy moment where this small little thing that she just threw hits this thing with an insane amount of kinetic energy. And you see it, posh!
She has a gun.
Well,
This game is set in Texas.
Wait a minute.
this thing, actually you can see it because you just now illuminated like that split second before. The roomy yellowed eyes bug out of its snouted head as it's lifted up into the air and driven down onto the ground.
Happy we didn't find her.
All right.
Goodness, I'm charmed.
So that happens.
I didn't find my arrow at her. Oh boy.
Catryn just walks away.
Rolls her eyes.
And she says, remember, counter rhythm. So you're not.
Do I have any sense of how far back that voice is?
Oh, that was yelling? You do, Miss Observant.
Nice.
It's surprisingly far back. And I'm actually making an Arcana check. There's a detail I want to see if your character catches.
Is it illuminated at all by the lights that I've...
You don't see anybody else there.
17.
Obviously, you don't have time to check distances, and things can be very, very odd at night, Tatiana. In your bones, though, you've practiced with Catryn. You've seen Alishli do her thing. Your instinct tells you whatever hit Merrick was really far. Like considerably farther than what you have when you have seen Will worked elsewise.
So I also get the sense that this thing didn't do that.
The massive creature? No. You're not. I mean, you can't be 100% certain, but it doesn't that sequence of events wouldn't make any sense to you. What do you do?
Okay. So it's super far away, which feels like really, really far and out of my range. Sort of out of my range.
Edge. Way into the darkness, though.
And this thing...
It's not dead. I mean,
dead.
it's pissed. You can hear it, hit, slam on the ground and pissed.
Do I have a good shot of its eye?
It's, for prone, this is a weird thing in 5th ed because supposedly you're at disadvantage when things are prone, but because of the angle and because you specifically are elevated and you can shoot down, I'm going to say that actually you're at advantage because normally it's only melee attacks with advantage, but you have this massive thing. Yeah,
Just saying.
Yeah, no, because you crawled up and physics need to reflect that. So, you have a good shot
Same
at
height
it.
as I am.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'd like to shoot at its eye.
Okay, we need to get you. When you get your first feat, we need to get you the sharpshooter feat so you can actually make called shots and do extra damage with them. But for flavor, go ahead. Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead.
With advantage, is that what I'm
With
hearing?
advantage, yes, ma'am.
All right. Just want to make sure.
That's what I hear every time.
That's a 23.
Ah, okay, thunk.
And 4.
You're getting
-1.
you're getting your -1 in there.
Sorry. That's
All right. You're getting your Cupid bow in there. Okay, every bit, that you have now managed to pierce his hide twice. You're up.
Does it go through the eye?
No. It does lodge. It does lodge in some rhino hide face, though.
Okay. Well, great.
Actually, with the 23, you probably even hit the eyelid, and now it's just kind of hanging off of the. It's kind of hanging off of the eyelid right now.
Okay.
How far is he from me, approximately?
Maybe 70.
70? All right, so I'm going to...
Your ray will reach if you want.
Yeah. I'm going to unleash the ray of desiccation.
And pain.
And pain.
New and improved.
Don't forget the pain.
New and improved, because
Yeah.
now it is the ray of
Yeah.
desiccation and pain.
So you're just going to see, this, power come from my hands and just shoot into this, this almost lightning bolt color blue and hit it on the ground. And I'm going to...
This is going to be at disadvantage because... Oh, no, wait, you're up in the tree
I'm
as
in the
well.
tree.
No, you're up in the tree.
I'm at advantage.
Tree. Come on.
Advantage! What the?
You're
Are you joking?
You are at advantage, so you get the better. You get the better roll.
Okay.
Come on, roll good.
Come on. You got this. Everybody.
See, pray. There you go.
14.
14.
And it's the D10. Point that out to me. That's this one.
14. You hit the hides, and some of the thick hides that it's wearing, ash and shrivel away. But the creature itself is not damaged.
Do you have a spell modifier?
Wait, baby? Did you roll a 14 total? Or did you roll a 14?
There's a 14 here.
Oh, 14.
Oh, so you get a
Plus,
plus 5. You get a plus 5 on that.
Plus which one?
Plus 5.
Plus 5?
Yeah, for your actual.
For your attack.
Yeah, so it's 19.
Oh, yeah,
So you
sorry,
19.
forgot.
So it actually does pierce through the hides. So go ahead and
Now roll D10.
yeah, roll that damage.
Okay. Well, I had a really good roll right
Yeah,
there.
I'll let you keep that.
was a 9.
That's fine. Yeah, no, I saw that. You rolled it legit.
Thanks, everyone.
Strength?
No, not her strength. Not her
All the
strength.
ladies are doing all the jobs right now.
Spell, yeah.
9.
We're all here. We're all
It's a
here.
spell.
We're all doing it.
Yep. Okay.
I always forget that's it.
That got its attention. And to you, yeah.
Yeah. For counter rhythm, I understand from my tactics roll, she would want me to also run up and throw and kind of just follow her lead, or does she want me to run up and go to dash to then flank it?
Your actually make a tactics roll.
I was gonna say, I'm like, I was.
Did Deckery go last?
That is a natural 20.
You and Vale have there's some weird syncing up going on because that's the second 20 that you've gotten.
Yeah, and it hit the board and it rolled in there.
So
I do love green hair. Yeah, no one's ever seen. Yeah.
I support this.
okay, Donnie, this is weird, but without you ever having seen, because remember, Chosen are quite rare.
Mm-hmm.
They're quite rare. What you just saw was physically impossible, so you know she's chosen. I mean, you already knew by the hair, but now you've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
She
blood.
So basically, she's still going to have, with the 20, I can pretty much explain this almost meta. She's still going to have to close with it.
Mm-hmm.
but she wants you dogging it opposite her, and she's quicker than you. So it's going to be a situation where she's striking it, it's turning to attack her, you're striking, it's turning to attack you, and you're basically whipsawing it back and forth.
Excellent. Yeah, then I'll use my movement to get up to her.
Okay.
That'll put me at 30, and then... You know what? I will actually use... My full action will be to go on its side and kind of read that, walk by her.
Like about
here? No, like to its side while it's on the ground, and then I'm going to use my action surge to attack it while it is prone, so I can do it at advantage.
Okay,
So basically,
no,
I read what she wanted, but
Yeah.
I'm like, I got you. Yeah, like, I'm not useless.
No, that's okay. So you pull that part of yourself that you've just recently found. Everything begins to slow down around you. So to you, you're not moving any faster than you have your whole life, but you start to see motes of dust that are in the wind that almost come to a crawl. You can see her running, at first sticking out a hand, but you can feel it with that 20. You can feel her intent of trying to rein you in.
She puts out the hand, I put up the finger, and it's kind of like that. Oh, that's a callback.
The moment
it's kind of like a shine and wink.
a little smile comes through. She drops, and this is all in slow motion. She's dropping her hand, and the hairs on the back of your head stand up because again, you haven't known any other chosen like this, and your grandfather doesn't really fight you anymore.
Scared.
He's scared now. That's right. That's it. That's right. Captain Invictus. Is terrified. She knows exactly what you're doing because she's about to call forth the same ability in herself. So her hand just drops, and she drops down into a sprint instead. So all right, go ahead and you get to attack it with advantage.
That is we're not gonna use that one. That'd be a 9 to hit and a natural 20 with a great.
So
shit.
You drive it down and you murder stroke down just right into the center point. The part where Nelishley already kind of played blocker.
I want to have it where the pylon was sticking out, and I want to use that and impart.
Oh, the pylon.
Too.
Okay.
I want to be able to dig it out easy.
Okay. Roll double the dice.
Yeah. So that is 2d6 plus 4. So that is 5, 9. 9 plus 14.
Okay.
14 points of damage. Because it's just double dice, not double the plus modifier. Okay,
Right.
yeah.
Yep. Right.
Dude, this black die.
Now this thing is guys. This thing has obviously taken a supernatural amount of punishment. I mean, you've been digging at it, you've been roasting at it. It's still not done.
And as my Deckery came up to when
Fire
Emilio and them, well, now they won't fire within that range, but I want them to be protecting Catryn.
There would have been at least. Yeah, the distances are bad, but there would have been at least one more. Let me just.
Yep, totally.
You're quick though, so that would have happened then. Okay, now you've got 2 more arrows in it.
Yeah.
Sorry, pylon.
Yeah.
So.
Nice.
Yeah. And they're running. Yeah, I mean they're running. Emilius is running up. Just barely. It's good that you're so quick because you took the disadvantage off of most of those casts.
You're welcome.
Yeah. And I want them to be guarding Wason.
You're up. Oh wait, no, this poor thing. Okay, so it lumbers. This poor abused Utini. So he lumbers up to a knee, takes an ill-tempered swipe at you. God, dog.
Oh,
Fend it off.
Yeah. I love that.
It's back up and it is pissed. Now, normally creatures that are badly wounded, in nature, of course, they're going to run. They're going to try to preserve themselves. This thing, all you're seeing are the flaring nostrils, the saliva coming down its face, even as the blood is matching it. Some of the gore beginning to start up. Okay, Merrick.
I'll turn around and fire at it.
Okay.
He's very upset. Very upset. 23. Damn.
You can feel the old power course through you. The empowered bow that Grundy Touchgem made for you is a fit repository for your strength as you release the shaft.
And there's one ally within 5 feet?
Yep.
All right.
Yep. So
Yeah, baby. 4, 7 plus. What here?
God.
Oh, 10.
10?
Yeah.
Okay. That almost drives it. That almost drives it back down. Catryn, what are you doing?
I'm protected, right? Or nah?
The guys are about to run past you. Yeah.
Okay.
The quad's about to run past you with Sergeant Melius.
Okay.
And they're instructed to stay with her.
Actually,
Because I told them range.
that's fair. Yep.
Yeah.
No, you're right. You're right.
Okay. Then I will wait for them, but I'm just gonna make sure that the light is still above everybody.
I mean, you're faster than them. You have a shot on this thing if you want it.
But can I do that as well as the light?
You're maintaining concentration on Trepidium.
Yeah.
But you can still use something that is just an instant that you don't have to husband.
I love that for me.
Remember all the crazy. I know this is off camera, but remember all the crazy stuff that Nalishli was able to do in that one
that's
turn.
true. That's true.
Yeah.
Concentration, got it. So then you're gonna see from her chest, and she's gonna push out with her hand, and you're gonna see the same sort of liquid, but it's gonna be in fire form, and she's going to ignum and try to hit him in the
Say
chest.
it with some bass.
Ignum.
There you go. And where are you pulling the mana from?
She's pulling it from her chest, so from the ground up.
From the ground up.
Into
Okay.
her chest.
All right. So yeah, you feel that ghost fire run up your calves. Run up your calves. Come to the base of your spine, and then leap up to your solar plexus and out.
That's how she learned how to do it the first time. So.
Little harder at night because you can't pull down from the sun too.
That's true.
But it's there. It's fine. You're an adept. All right. Roll to hit.
Ooh, dirty 20.
Dirty 20. All right. Roll damage.
Ha.
As it turns in.
Nice.
9.
Oh, yeah.
God damn.
9.
Okay.
Can she also do an insight check onto why the back of her left knee hurts?
Sure.
Okay. Because I'm confused.
Or Arcana.
22, sorry.
A lot of math sounds like it was going to be good.
Hello.
You have never, in Catryn's defense, that's literally the first time that you've ever utilized that ability before.
Oh.
In this continuity, you have Battle Mage Naeus had.
Sure.
But in this continuity, spoilers, but so it clicks to you. Ooh, make a note with that high. You think to yourself, I should have known that because I already know that, but you don't know that. Ooh. So you have this moment where you go into that slightly older, not the super older one, but the slightly older Battle Mage Naeus, where you have that facet of yourself reveal itself in the Eternal River, like a ghost. And you realize what you were feeling is where this creature has a weakness. So you could call that out to...
Blessed!
Call that out to someone.
Yeah, at the top of her lungs. She's...
I think it's fried now, right?
So...
Well, yeah, let's find out.
So as you... I mean, this all happens. This all happens like that. You hit its roaring, its defiance.
He's be dead.
And there's a flare.
Back down.
Oh.
Runs up. Now, so that the players know, this thing is down. Even so much that Lady Vale pauses for for a half second. Even, she's continuing, but not that dead sprint. Guys, you see it revive.
Oh, shit.
Oh, fuck.
And it's struggling. I mean, it's clinging, but anything that was purely human, and Utini obviously are not human, but anything that's purely human, that's not going to happen. Even chosen, that'd be dead. At that point, you just burn the back of its brain out, essentially. She coils.
Did you call out about the knee?
Yeah, she would have screamed about the back of the knee as soon as she had done that.
Okay.
But, I mean, yeah.
Okay,
100%.
fair. So she coils, springs, kind of step. It's not a full jump. Even she couldn't jump. Well, actually, maybe with a running step. She's not going to be that fancy, though. It's efficiency here.
Yes.
Yeah, no, exactly. She coils. She makes a fantastic leap, though, and comes down and misses with the gladius. And you're the only person who. So hit. Everything slows down for her, and you can feel it. You know that she's doing your ridiculous matrix thing as well. So she hits, and in the wink of an eye, brings it this way, severs the femoral artery for the second attack. And you didn't see that.
You did it on purpose, I know. It looked really cool.
I was checking for life. Okay.
Marquidon is scared and horned.
Okay.
Oh,
Is it dead?
It bleeds out its last.
Thank God.
Ciao.
Sayonara.
And whatever you were hearing or seeing is rapidly receding.
Oh.
It's just a test.
Make a perception roll. Actually, make 2 rolls: perception and then insight.
Okay. Okay. I've got a 14 for perception.
For perception,
and
okay.
insight, a 9.
Okay. For the perception roll, that one's not too difficult. I mean, they're already in motion. They're aware of you. You're aware of them. And unless they deviate course, they're headed toward Pulex. And that's one piece. The insight, I always try to kind of bear in mind that you do have a really high passive insight, but there's a particular ability that basically guarantees you a 10, which you don't have yet. But there was some, let's just say, what did you get, a 9? Yeah, okay. You can't normally, if you on a good day, you could even though it's not in Daro, not in a language you understand, you could feel the undercurrents of it. It's definitely not beyond your capabilities. Let's just say that exchange was out of order because you heard angry feminine screaming and berating coming from that distance, and this thing didn't give a crap about that. And now, of course, that stopped. That was just for that. That was I think there were a total of 3 commands that got issued. None of them were obeyed. And the rest of it you can't read, but you do get that.
So I read it as commands that were disobeyed by this being.
With that roll, you're not entirely confident, but something was not going according to plan. For one thing, there's nothing to prevent. Trying to decide if you'd use that pronoun. Are you thinking of when you hear the feminine voice, are you thinking of it as her or it, your assailant, who's blasting from a far distance?
Her.
Her? Okay. There should be nothing to prevent her from just laying up on you guys while this thing is in combat. I mean, that's certainly what you would do, right? If you had a long distance ability, you would just you'd be shooting every
Sure.
opportunity, you'd be turning them into pincushion. There was the one initial blast and nothing. And the combat really hasn't moved. I mean,
Merrick, with his knowledge of Utini and his advantages with them being an enemy, do an observation to figure out any weirdness or aspects around the tactics. And I know the woman isn't typically in charge, so
You have never even heard of a female Utini. So normally obviously they exist, but
Yeah.
there's literally zero information on them.
But she didn't sound like a Utini, though.
No, the language did not sound correct.
Sounds like a different person trying to command them.
You can make a roll, Corey, but you're not going to get the kind of information. You're the only character to even really have a chance at this. You're not going to get the kind of information that you normally would.
Me with my Utini
Should I
check
still get an
with
advantage?
If you can think of a good way to apply that right now, I'll let you roll too. Something that you're sifting through and looking for.
What if I tasted tasted a tiny bit of that thing's blood?
That could work.
Ooh.
That could work.
Do we get an advantage with
You nasty
or a wisdom check?
You do. No, you do. You do, but it's roll. Roll and I'll tell you. You do. No, you do.
Damn! No, not
it's
that
a
one.
2.
Not that one.
For all of that.
Which one is it? Wisdom?
Wisdom.
It'd be 17. Total. Yep.
You rack your brains. You confirm there's nothing. There is no precedent for this. I will say, in Utini, this physically powerful. This was not the equal of the chieftain that Titus Invictus, that his grandsire dueled. That thing was formidable. I mean, not that this thing was weak, but that thing was like kill 50 men at a time, kind of crazy shit. But any Utini of this stature are not. They're going to be in Utini regalia. They're going to have a retinue. They're going to have subordinates. This is very weird, Corey, that this thing is just barreled off on what wound up being a suicide mission. Granted, it didn't know that it just was about to go into a nest of chosen warriors, So it should have been able to kill any 6 people that it ran into.
You should put some juju on her and send it forward.
This is some weird stuff. This is all unprecedented. And remember last session too, you were looking at them playing with the lock. And,
right, I want to connect it to, is this the person that's teaching them the technology, which is probably, I'm making the deduction here that it's probably separate.
I will leave that to you as the player.
Got it.
Because you don't, Although make a note, if your character, you can lobby me for another roll on that if you think that your character has some piece of information, if he gets a further deduction, or piece of information to try to solve that mystery. Fair? Okay.
Very fair.
Okay.
I didn't hear what they were saying, did I? If I could understand what that language was, or sort of.
It's not a language that you understand. If you can make an extraordinary history roll, you might be able to, with your freakishly good memory, you might be able to pull something out.
Let's try, guys. 22.
Okay, you're yanking. You're yanking.
I've read a lot of books.
You have, for some reason, your subconscious comes up with your mentor, Figulus Neus, mentioning that he never did understand why the Utini. So you know that the Utini are not. This is not their original homeland. I think even as a player you already know that. Yeah. This is not their original homeland, and for some reason that pops up in your head. Like his voice giving you that lecture about how about 100 winters back, about a century ago, they just kind of showed up and never left, and give or take. Okay, so you actually go up. All right, hold off on that for just a second, but yeah, we'll do that before the end of the session, which rapidly approaches.
Yeah. Did you see it come back? The Lady Vale.
Sorry, come again?
Yeah. Did you see it come back for that moment?
Sorry, Dottie, still not catching.
Did you see it come back when it was down and it came back alive?
When it revived? Yes.
I'm just gonna take my sword and just start chopping it at its fucking neck, just cutting its head off.
Okay. She nods.
Yeah.
Actually, she joins you.
Yeah, that's a good bonding moment.
She says, "Didn't leave much for me to do, huh?"
You told me everything you did. I kind of knew what you were going to do, but
I didn't even have a chance to fight and counter rhythm with you.
There's always next time. There'll be a lot more of these. And then I'm gonna take the pile and shove them down, and then pull them out and give one to her. Like pull it out, start taking them out.
Donnie, she actually puts her hand on your shoulder. So her, shield's here. She puts her hand on your shoulder. You're chosen.
Yes. As are you.
What gave it away?
The blood.
Of course. I mean, you don't have... And now she's like really looking at your hair. Where is your green hair?
Let's just say it was the second of the second.
All right.
Discuss more later.
And these others? Are they chosen as well?
I think your word was eclectic.
Mayor walks up.
That's fair.
Excuse me, Domine and Domine. I need. Pulls out the arrow. Is it still good or not?
That one's not.
Okay.
No.
Oh, damn it.
It snaps on the rhino hide. All right, your men, obviously, long before all that, they would have run up, but they have discipline. They're not just going to continue to jump.
Go back to the people.
They're looking at you. They look at Emilius, who is almost as good as you can get as a non-chosen. He looks at that corpse, looks at you, and he bows his head. Okay. So you come...
boys, and I knew that. Yeah. I love
You come back. God, I think you were the only one who was... the only one who was...
Marcus!
Children be like, all right, the excitement's over, get back to your groups.
What did that woman do to me?
Woman?
I don't even know.
A woman. She spoke words and... Catryn! What is this?
His armor looks singed, but not by flame.
Is it the front, the back?
Back.
Okay.
The back.
Does it look
What is this?
Does it look the way a tree looks after lightning has struck it? Like a bit of lightning has?
No.
No.
There's a weird... Oh, I need to get back to you because I was about to say there's a weird smell. Okay. So you go up to the corpse. This is while they're still there, obviously, and they're hacking the head off. You have a flashback to your grandsire with the head.
Yeah.
Because you've heard that story. Obviously, Critter wasn't alive, but you've heard the story.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant
The head, 30 winters back.
The eye.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking of the other one he killed. They did that too.
No, he likes the...
Kind of his thing.
He kind of likes the heads. Yeah. And by the way, the thing that this had in its offhand, it had a bag in it, and when it tumbled down, you see a collection of heads came out of the bag. So it was head hunting. Of just like some poor outlanders.
Taking that rhino hide, tying that shit up, and taking his head.
All right, you're taking the heads.
I'm taking his head.
Oh, his head. What are you doing with the human heads?
Proper burial.
Okay.
Like my little shovel. It's gonna be very quick.
Yeah, you can do that. You can do that tonight. You actually go down. This is the weirdness. This is the weirdness of this girl. You go down
With a smile.
with a smile.
Slightly.
The men actually. Do you want to hide this from his men coming up?
Yes.
Okay, make a sleight of hand.
22.
Oh, get it.
Okay, so it just looks like that little smile. You just make a little flourish. You make
I bend down to get my arrows, see
There
if
you
they're
go.
salvageable.
perfect little. And you know exactly where the braid's positioned, so you have the you get the braid.
I don't. It makes it look cool eating the enemy's blood.
She's smiling the whole time.
I don't even think the rest of your party knows that you did that. Make an insight check with advantage.
25. Oh my goodness.
You're insightful.
Beautiful.
I am insightful.
Still a dirty 20.
These are our lands. Fuck you, cunt. And you can feel the rage of this thing as it barrels, as it fights for honor, as it fights for heads, as it fights to show this interloper, this alien interloper, that the Utini need no aid or direction. And you can feel you have to kind of shake it out and let it go, because this, it revived not because it was an ensorcelled creature, Tatiana, out of sheer burning fury. Powerful enough to jolt it back to a second life.
Wow.
With that high of a roll, it was young. This was not... It was young. Formidable already, but not at its full fighting peak. Not seasoned, right? That's a good way of saying it, Randy. Okay.
Okay.
You know your sword sister very well, and you were the one who was standing the closest. I'm going to say that you get kind of caught up in the camp talk and the men and all of that. I mean, you don't go over to the body.
Examining my back, maybe.
No.
Maybe.
Yeah, as Merrick bellows. So you know something. You know this is a weird night in a weird area. So you're kind of out of it, but you know something that your sword sister just had something significant pass through her slender frame, and you do know that she has extraordinary powers of perception, too, which is a great compliment for you actually, because it's hard for you to dial in on details sometimes, and she's all about the nuance.
Okay. Can I, I'm going to jump down from the tree and approach Wesa.
Sure.
And ask, Wesa, what just happened?
Nalishli, I can't even imagine how much rage this creature carried, and it appears it's so angry at perhaps this voice. The voice, did you hear it?
I heard the voice.
Something wrong here.
Could you get a sense of why it was angry at the voice?
Perhaps trying to defend its honor, and I believe it called her an interloper. I'm very curious, but I feel her going towards Pulex. We must tell Marcus and the others. I don't know her intentions, but this creature hates her, and this creature is vile itself.
Did you get a sense it hated the will worker? Okay. At this point, can I like feel into any flashback this might be giving me to a previous memory, or a sense that this like feels whatever is controlling this will worker is like familiar to me?
Go ahead and make the final roll of the session. Religion.
Oh!
It finally worked.
It happened for me. 23.
23.
You got a
It's a crit. Okay.
Get it.
We roll 20 is even better than a natural 20. Is this the crit?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Yes.
You can hear. You do better than feel this time. You hear the voice of. Actually, she reveals a new name to you.
Hey everybody! Darkeport Sideboard. If you enjoyed the
At least
content,
one
make sure to
secret
like and
game
subscribe.
session.
Below there, we do have Steve's music available. You can have it for purchase. Put it on your own games. We also have some figurines available. Okay, great. Darkeport Sideboard over. It was quick.
It was a quick one.
Okay, so like as she...
And that is how she addresses you. That is the persona. That's the aspect of her that's addressing you, not what you're familiar with. And she says, my created, these are not my children. And that's where we'll end it. We will pause. And we're going to pick up. Where there's, y'all do manage to successfully ford with the dawn. Mm-hmm. You manage to successfully ford. you still aren't sure on the mystery burns. I may have you make a note, Anika, that I may have you roll. Sorry, I know, but
No, you're good. You're good.
I may have you roll on that to see if you can figure out exactly what the hell hit him. I mean, you're pretty familiar with a lot of different will working, and you're like, this is some kind of will, but this is not standard issue. Your armor is, you do some field patches, but it's not optimal. You need to get back home to fully repair it. But you do manage to ford.
Is Marcus a one-hit wonder, or?
You do manage to ford, and you don't feel. He wants you to do the thing, and you're just like, you're not feeling the thing.
I just use regular tradition.
Yeah, yeah. You're like Marcus, and you're like, nope. Okay, you're gonna heal. Make a note that we're gonna open with you making a medicine check, because you're like working yourself up, and you're like, oh, what is it gonna feel like? What is it gonna feel like? And it's like, it's gonna feel like some stitches.
This is gonna be cool. And you're like,
it's gonna feel like some suturing. Okay, so you do forge, and you can just feel the psychic relief, Corey, as soon as you get back into the arms of the facet of the Magna Mater that you're most comfortable with. Oh, yeah. You're back in your forest. You're in your not quite your backyard, but you're in your neighborhood now. You pass the bogs, and you
familiar lands.
And so we'll pick up with that roll, and with y'all hitting Memoria.
Memoria.
We may or may not stay with Memoria very long. So yeah, go ahead and get that. Quick. 30 seconds or less, something that intrigued, surprised. If it's really good, maybe 60. But something our friends, our faraway friends, have stayed with us for this entire time, and we appreciate the heck out of them. So, yeah, something that intrigued, surprised, or moved you. Actually, Allie, I'll start with you.
I am just so intrigued by these messages that I keep getting, because I don't know what they mean, and they're driving me crazy. And I'm trying to envision like every possibility of what this could be. But that's the most intriguing thing, and the most surprising thing is how I like little kids. I think they're really sweet.
I was wondering how that was going to play.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, I did.
So okay, awesome, Randy.
I was actually intrigued by the idea that Lady Vale had never met another Chosen before.
You got that.
Yeah, which implies to me that there are no other Chosen except her, because she was expecting green hair like hers. So it's just like, if I didn't see that...
She knows from history that there were other Chosen. Right.
But nothing in her immediate memory. So that doesn't mean they're not.
Right.
It could just be very well be there. But it's interesting that none of them has actually caught her attention to this point. So that was interesting to me.
No, that's good catch. Tots?
I'm very curious about the relationship of this Utini creature and the voice. I get to sit with that a little bit more.
You're really good at this game, by the way.
Oh, good.
Because you guys were not supposed to have that piece. You were not supposed to have that piece, but you picked the one frickin' way, and that you're... No, that's good. That was really good, because that fury would absolutely be in the blood.
Yeah. So I'm just really, really, really curious about their relationship and think about it.
That's charming. Okay.
I also noticed the whole Lady in the Veil thing, and it was just interesting because now she's not alone in that. And so I'm curious to see what she does in the future. Also, she's fucking badass. Like, what the hell? And obviously flirting with somebody.
I don't know who that might be. You're already married, my friend. Yeah.
But I'm intrigued to see what she does,
you know?
in this sort of like party situation, and how she.
The world has changed for her.
I know. I'm excited
because important NPCs need to be dynamic too and have arcs as well, or they're boring. So,
it's true.
Thank you. Titus.
Yeah, from the player, 100% no, because I didn't see that as Titus, but knowing that you can kind of seep into that mind of something just by that is so awesome. I can't wait to hear more about that. That's incredible. And I'm being like, cunts, I don't need that. I'm like, oh shit.
It got real scary.
Custom classes can be cool. Yep.
Yeah, and I know about Lady Vale and that kind of like the green hair and stuff like that, so I'm excited to see how that one plays out for sure. It's gonna be really cool. And also it's just fun to see all the children kind of working their way in and, you know, bringing Germentrum to the people rather than people coming to Germentrum before they even get there is pretty fun.
I'll just give you one quick one on that. Remember how interested so for many reasons, she's interested in meeting her grandsire.
Mm-hmm.
That's another layer to it.
Yeah.
Because she knows he's chosen.
Oh, for sure. Well, she knows that.
Yeah. Bring us home.
I got to see at least in this game session, actually in general, that how badass Titus can be with that great sword.
Yeah, no, that was a hell.
Impressive.
Get it?
By that too.
I was a little worried, honestly, dude, how that scene played out. I was a little worried for you because if that thing was going to was going to stick on you and like that could have. I was rolling like dog doo doo, and that could have gone real different.
Oh yeah, really bad.
So
really bad ones.
Yeah.
Very bad ones.
Because you were already damaged too. So I was like, real early.
The mystery of the Utini and their gain of knowledge and techne in general.
Sure.
And just wondering if
this is not the foe you have faced in generations past.
The influence I think is from this I don't know in character right now, but interloper. But I do know it's some foreigner. I've already deducted it's some foreign person that's somehow playing with
some base variable has changed. Right. Wonderful. Thank you all. Yay! And for you who have stayed with us through this whole thing, you have given us the greatest gift that there is, which is time. So thank you very much for that. The tale will continue, and it's going to be next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. 1900 for you military folks, 7 p.m. otherwise. I'll try to start getting more and more interesting tidbits, including translating this little hand-drawn map to a little analog map, or calendar rather, so that you can see kind of what's going on with the players. Because I am trying to keep track of days, months, all that war story, so that'll be important. And other than that, take care of yourselves and stay curious. Thank you. Appreciate that. Good night.
Why's Marcus over there?
I didn't get up.
The figurine.
I was going to put it back over there, but I decided to wait until after that.
Okay.
I think I wanted you to come out and fight, but it wouldn't make sense.
There we go. All right, and we're back. I messed up, so I'm still getting used to the rhythm. I should not have signed off for the evening. I should have signed off for a brief period of time, and probably after this week, we're going to have the technical capacity to separate out the main body of the episodes with the after chat, and just to kind of for convenience's sake, so you know kind of roughly what you're signing up for. And I understand that we have our very first not chat GPT generated, as this one keeps saying. No, that's true. I guess technically you wouldn't know that. But our first chat generated answer, or question, yay! Yeah. So I think that's really exciting.
Yes, I've been having a lovely conversation with Velween. Thank you, Velween, for your feedback and witticisms.
Oh, witticisms.
There have been some witticisms.
There have been some witticisms.
Oh my goodness.
I love it. Those.
Yeah. First of all, hey, great job, everyone. Thank you for sharing that with us. Let me be the first to formally congratulate you. Yeah, we have some very lovely miniatures on our table.
We do.
And there was some interest in how those came to be.
Okay.
Just in brief, if you can.
The short version is I played with a man named Julian Dillard, a friend of mine, a long time ago, a couple decades ago now, in Vampire the Masquerade, and I recently connected with him, and he does this on the side, at least the tree, the terrain, and those components. And then I know another person that here locally that does 3D printing of miniatures, and so we designed them as STLs and then had him print them, and then we have another person that painted them. So that's kind of how that came about. So just coordination and honestly networking and old friends.
It shows. You guys, you got to
I'm
see
impressed with them entirely.
I find myself staring.
And honestly, Julian Dillard, awesome job. The trees,
Yeah, no, Julian did an
bridge,
an incredible job.
rocks.
Yeah, he did this too with the die. No.
Hey, the dine's amazing.
That's in process, and we'll have a little something for y'all hopefully sooner rather than later.
And David Poe painted our beautiful minis that the gold trims represent the actual chosen, the player characters. And the camera probably doesn't do it justice, but if you actually zoom in on these things, it matches our illustrations very well.
Insane
I'm
detail.
madly impressed by that. I was like, oh, look at that, look at that.
There's a golden griffin on the plate of Titus. It's amazing. Yes. Incredible.
Seen that?
Yeah, you have to look.
It's really cool.
Yeah, no, it is. It is.
Chosen eyes.
One of the other questions asked by our dear friend Velween. I'm sure this will only take you 20 seconds maximum. How does magic work in your so obviously we can't get into anything
Extensive on it,
but
right?
just in general, how's that functioning?
So for this campaign, I'm really trying to take kind of I think of it as a Ricean approach, like Anne Rice, the celebrated author, where she really talks about the emotional states of the characters, the subjective experiences of the characters first and foremost, especially on abilities and talents that are so internalized. And how magic works is going to be a bit of a mystery as the campaign unfolds, but essentially the very, very basics are that anyone who is a will worker is born or cultivates the ability to see the eternal river. And the eternal river are essentially the tools that the gods themselves used to shape creation. And so will workers are always, trust me, there's going to be a whole deep dive about hubris and arrogance and versus humility and all of that, about how will workers approach, because when you have humans that can shape reality, they tend to kind of lose themselves. Is that crazy enough, but gives you a little something?
Just beg for more.
Okay, there you go.
That's one type of magic, right? And there's the other.
Well, that's a whole different,
Or
whole different ball of wax.
Like the magic guy knows right there.
I mean, when you're doing 20 some odd points of damage, yeah.
Needed it.
Indeed. There was also some curiosity about our Kithgi friends and how they relate to or are different from halflings as one might understand them in most fiction.
So that's mainly there are two big differences on this. I can take this. I don't know. Do you want to take this, Corey, or do you want me to?
Go ahead.
Okay.
I mean, they haven't even seen some of it. They haven't really gotten a chance to see the full halfling
The culture yet.
culture
right.
yet.
So the main ways that they differ are culturally, because these are not Shire-born halflings. These Kithgi were born and raised inside of the walls and defending the walls of Germentum. So these are like militarized halflings, and they're part of a feudal, almost a feudal system. And then the other thing I would say is that the concept of the old power and the fact that their lives are inextricably intertwined with the Magna Mater, with the Great Mother, really, really shape them. Because to them, the Magna Mater isn't a religion per se. It's something that they can feel flowing through them. And those with old power, those who basically are superpowered, so 17 strength and a tiny little 3.5 body, they can really feel her. I mean, they're kind of a weird cross between paladins and then whatever other class, but it's not really faith. It's what they can feel bodily. So,
and another big difference is the relationship dynamic called Seppu, which we'll get into, which is literally it's like a spoken not wheel, but the relationships. I can have multiple marriages in relationships, and they can have multiple marriages and relationships with each other. It really is a many-to-many relationship within the halfling society, and we are very close. We tend to live in houses of 20 plus, homes of 20 plus, and that's a big difference than say the traditional halfling.
That's a good call. Yeah, the way the structure web is a pretty intense and gets very, very complicated.
I'd be like halflings before any type of civilization, except they just kept going without any civilization. Like, I love that.
They don't need civilization.
Oh.
And just now, but do Kithgi have second breakfast? That is, in fact, the most important.
I mean, that's the important thing.
Really.
Well, Kithgi,
11
Kithgi do have a pride pouch, and if their pride pouch is deflated, it's royal sad ones for them.
That's very good.
So the answer is yes. And I will say the most hotly debated topic is whether or not witch's snack in all of Kithgi culture is whether or not sleep is more important or witch's snack at midnight is more important. And wars have been fought over these things. So they still have, Kithgi wars, but so they do have.
And the grumble bellies really grumble when they don't get their snacks.
Yes. Yeah. You don't want to, and they're big, so it's kind of a problem.
Well, there has been an official petition launched, and I will sign my name to this.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. What is this?
For more snorting.
Well, since we are, our fair heroes are known colloquially as the Fellowship.
The Fellowship.
Gotcha.
There seems to be a wonderful opportunity here for some crossover. And if we can just find a nice open field and we all just dress up in Lord of the Rings characters, I think that
I have to cut my legs off to be 3.5 feet tall.
I mean, you have some pretty amazing perspective things. I mean, it's commitment to the bit, Corey. All right.
And for the pitcher, it's just a matter of getting on your knees.
That's true. And big white armor, anyways.
Yeah.
Blow up my muscles at least 2 times.
It's all about perspective on the camera. So.
Oh.
All right.
Only if you get to be Galadriel, then.
Oh, I could.
Well, I mean, I am the pretty one, so
You are.
Clearly.
it does make sense.
Clearly.
Yes, I agree.
Okay.
Hey, we have Renfest and we do have Sherwood Forest right here.
Let's just say it's not out of the bounds of the possible. Is that?
I'll be getting off in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah, we're at convention even if we go to when we go to conventions. Absolutely. I love cosplay. We all LARPers, so that's not out of the realm by any means.
Hell yeah.
Well, our adoring fans are most pleased, as am I.
Anything for our troopers, hopefully troopers.
So, thank you, Valwyn, for those lovely
Yes,
questions. I
thank
do
you.
appreciate that. I do have a couple of questions of my own.
Okay.
If you'll
Okay, yeah.
indulge me.
Yeah, run through 'em.
Hi, Donnie.
What's up, buddy?
Oh, you're great. You're doing a great job. I'm having fun. Titus seems to have made maybe a new friend. I'm not really sure.
Well, can we bring up the illustration? So this is the first introduction to that character that I saw.
Yeah.
And trying to woo that is pretty difficult. Not trying to woo that, I'm trying to avoid a war.
But I mean, hey, you know.
But yeah, no,
Or
I
a
think
political alliance.
that's true. Well, I just think about it along the lines of like, oh, okay, yeah, everything's different, but you know, the philosophy Jared mentioned for Titus is like, who would serve you if you don't serve the people? And I think that that's like the difference between every other patrician or any other type of royalty or anything like that. So I think when other patricians see that, which none of them have, because it's just been my sister, my ridiculous family, and that's it. You know, outside of Marius in Memoria, and even then, he's still was kind of he still is like that. So yeah, I think that's kind of where it's butting the heads. But I'm happy it's not like, how dare you be that kind to someone? You know, and I'm like, all right, at least that's
I just have to be really careful of saying anything. All I'll say about that is you are playing the hell out of that dynamic in that
For sure.
character.
Like, there's a great moment with the moment with the cloak.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness gracious, that was Donnie.
A lot of insight into your character.
Ooh-wee.
Yeah. And everyone else in Titus's family hates that about him too. That's the thing, is if someone respects it, that's kind of odd for him too. So hopefully, I haven't checked an insight for it, but we'll see. But when you see that, I'm assuming that I'm just gonna wake up spitting up blood. You know, like, oh, that must be the you know, like, I'm happy that she hasn't killed it yet. And just keep trying to not have anyone
Fetal
kill me.
version of Titus Invictus.
Yeah, I just don't want to be, you know, murdered in my sleep. It's kind of the goal.
Oh, man.
Romance is self-defense, I guess. Yeah.
Fair. And alliances are important.
Indeed. Corey.
Toby. Or Tobias.
Merrick had a bad day.
Yes.
I just, you know,
Real bad day.
there's a lot that he was forced to contend with, a lot that he is probably still processing.
He hates magic. I honestly, I think he hasn't had the barbarian PTSD soon enough, because magic is always thwarted. Even when he knows like it's a perfect shot
So true.
in the prologue, magic thwarted that shot, and so he's frustrated, which is why Catryn's going to be a really good friend of his soon enough. Because he needs to understand this whole concept and what he can do or not do. But he did have a bad day, and his back is like a bad sunburn. Reminds me, I got lost in the ocean for 6 hours and had 30-degree burns on my back. I know exactly what that feels.
Yeah, something like that.
Really?
Yeah, it took me down more than half, and I was running for my life until I had my friends engage. And then I'm like, all right, bastard. And here he comes.
Thank God.
But yeah. Was there more to that than just a bad day?
Well, no, I was thinking more, there was a very specific emotional beat that was processing last session that it still must be happening in the background, and I'm just really curious like how you're approaching that, how that's like shaping what's going for, or if you're dealing with it or not dealing with
I'm
it.
both. So this was a military situation, so my military, it's like dual mind here, or bipolar. My military mind went on at this point. When he heard they're going to Pulex, to be
continued.
Continue next episode. There's a whole other discussion that may be happening.
Come on, it's
around
let me
that.
get one in, man. Why they're killing him anyways.
To be discussed on the next chapter, because there's obviously that's news, and there's repercussions around that.
Speaking of Randy.
Yes, sir.
As he says with a bit of resignation in his voice.
So obviously this is a time of great stress and a need to focus and be that voice of reason and leadership for your people. But Marcus had a very bad time, but maybe also a very good or strange time. I am really curious how he is processing what happened to him, or what he did, or how he is conceiving of that moment with the young girl.
He is avoiding processing it at the moment. His goal, and immediately in front of him, is to take care of his people, get them through the situation, get them safe. Once that happens, I'm sure there's going to be some delving into the mind, talk to other people, just general, like, let's start looking into this. He's like, you don't have to like it, you just have to be strong enough to face it, you know? So it's really one of those kind
I
of
think we need to have a meme right now. Is Marcus a one-hit wonder? Question mark.
Right.
Good
with a gut and needle. So.
Yeah, that's true.
I'd have to think.
We will
from
have to
his-
see on that.
I'd have to think from his perspective. He wouldn't mind if he was a one-hit wonder.
Oh, I'm sure he wouldn't, like, because he ain't do this. You know, it's like he wasn't into this. So
This was a horrible situation. I was glad I was able to be a vessel, and then I'm done. That's it, right?
I mean, you consider like the danger to not only him but his family from the Church of Light and just everything. This is the first time in 200 years that anything like this has happened, and apparently it's been prophesized about too, which I noticed with Lady Vale at one point.
The witch.
Oh, so the witch was right, even about this. You know,
Always a witch.
Yeah, it's always the witches.
That I'm thinking.
But really, it's just like, yeah, I wouldn't want him to do it, but if there had to be anybody in the village to do it, he'd probably be the first to step up so that other people didn't have to. Although, again, the danger to his family was immediate and poignant. Like, it's like, we have got to.
It was pressing.
Yeah.
Because you knew that if he left by himself, all of his family would probably be just scooped right on up.
But Pulex will be fine now, right?
Oh, it's going to be amazing.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm sure
it's at a peak strength right now. It'll be fine.
Thrive Metropolis.
Yeah. That I'm also thankful that you didn't see the amount of combat or what happened with our party too, because it's just like, oh yeah, these guys that came into our village and they were so nice and so sweet and started marching us over there, and then you just saw, oh, that really nice kind guy picking up that little kid is just ripping apart the gigantic monster.
I recognize Utini. I recognize what was
That
coming at
gigantic
us.
bot, you know.
And to be perfectly frank, I'm glad that you guys were there to step in front of us. You know, it's like we didn't want to have to do it. None of us can fight as it is. Like there might be one or two that have some combat skill, but for the most part, it's just like we're farmers, dude.
Yeah.
Like we're farmers and sheep herders and midwives and like children. So like, there's not going to really team you too much with that. So I am grateful that they were there to step in front of it and take it down with considerable ease. Like that was bam, 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 done.
Did you see those gigantic ones when you were in Pulex?
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, I don't know.
No,
This wasn't like empowered weird thing.
that thing was
because I also
freak. That thing was like a freak.
That's rights for the heads in the bag too, so you will see it. So.
She's stacked on a bunch of extra skins.
I'm
on
actually
it.
more curious about the heads that he collected.
Yeah,
because I want to see if I recognize any of them.
I got a feeling. I feel like I got a couple of shirts with the light on it.
Randy.
Well, I mean, do I know this one? Do I know that one?
Right. No. You would do that.
A proper burial.
A couple of priests.
Things.
Do that.
It's more.
Magic
trowel. with your magic trowel.
Oh yeah, I love that thing.
I think they do.
Thank you for your insights,
buddy,
and for your candor.
Thank you for facilitating.
Yeah, thank the community in the chat and the followers and what we call troopers, which is what we call our followers. And
if there's anything that delighted or intrigued you, put it in the comments. Then I will respond. I'll definitely. I want to get this dialogue going.
Oh yeah,
I want to get this dialogue going.
You can follow all our independent social medias if they are linked to the website. If you have any questions about that too, feel free to comment on any of our posts as characters, players, PCs, tropes, or anything like that. And yeah, we'll get back to it.
Not that you've thought about that. Well, this is
This is how good I am at improv. I never thought about that.
This is the Darkeport sidebar after all over here.
Oh yeah.
Thank you very much. We always appreciate your time and your intent. And we'll pick back up. We'll pick back up next week. Take care and stay curious. Good night.
bye, guys.
Oh yeah.